Hey everyone, it is Monday afternoon. Um, I don't really know. Hey Maylin, thank you for being here. I don't really know how many people are here right now. Probably everyone catching up for the end of the day for the Kelsey Fitzsimmons trial started today. I am having Kazi G on. He is going to join me shortly. We are going to talk a little bit about Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I have some opinions. I always do. Um, I'm going to wait for him to really go into it, but I'm just disgusted by. One day of testimony, and I was already ready to throw my phone listening to that bullshit. And I know a lot of you watch it with Baker, like I do. And if you didn't, his explanation, he's gone over this a couple different times, a couple different ways on the view from pictures of the room, and has now been put into evidence of the room, how small it is. Was there a door? Bullshit. That first there was a door, then there wasn't a door, then there's a door frame she can hide behind. And anyone who sees that room, those pictures, I'm sorry. Not to mention a 50-year-old man, not to say that that's old, because I'm 47, for heaven's sakes. He's not old, but he's not a young, spry officer. I get that. But after testifying about how he was on the SWAT and how he did this and that and this and that, and to literally say, oh my God, she got the drop on me. I almost had a heart attack when he said that. I literally clipped it right then and there, and I posted a short because it's a blatant lie. You are less than 10 feet away from a brand new mom, a basically rookie cop, and a female. Let's be honest. She's small, she's petite. And you got this guy who's been on SWAT and in the military and this and that. And you're telling me that you had to pull out your weapon and then you, first of all, missed somehow. You were on SWAT and training and that, and you missed your target? And instead of tackling her while she's supposedly re-racking her gun, her pew-pew, sorry, you decide to shoot again. I'm sorry, but this is insane. And anyone who isn't disgusted and pissed by this kind of testimony has got problems. How Noonan talked about the baby's door was damaged. Yeah. I'm Maylin, you're probably just as pissed off as I am. Literally, how the fuck does a man like that, and then of all things, he has the nerve, the first thing he says is, oh, well, she was new and she was mostly on maternity leave, so I didn't know her. When this woman, after being shot, almost died, came out basically to his defense, in a way, by saying that he gave her a shoulder to cry on after they suffered this, on the job fatality issue that they had, unaliving, and he comforted her and she appreciated it so much. And for him to have the nerve to go on that stand and say, well, I didn't know her. She was mostly on maternity leave when I came back. Like, fuck you. You douchebag. Yeah, you couldn't even see in the stretcher. She's so tiny. Yeah. I mean, I am, and right now, I think I'm just, like, blowing steam at you, Malin, because I think you're the only one here, so I appreciate you right now, but I am just I can't believe what I just witnessed. I mean, you're angry too. I'm literally, it's one of the there's very few things, as you know, I could talk away probably all day and all night about things, my opinion on things. I rarely become speechless. And it seems like in watching obviously watching the Karen Reed trial, I've done it several times, but watching him, and then this, I mean, I can, that doesn't even include the sister testifying, which I don't even understand why she testified. It was like all they wanted to do was get in shit that's not allowed. None of her crap about the Jack and Jill parties and all that bullshit, none of that matters whether an officer shot reasonably or not, pulled out his weapon reasonably or not, at a fellow officer, period. Has nothing to do with the bullshit between them two, between Justin and Kelsey. And to have his sister testify and get, you could tell how pissed off she was that she couldn't say everything she wanted to say. This is not family court. And even in family court, I hate to tell you, I've been through family court with my divorce, and when that's a whole nother story. But my ex tried to get more custody of my son. He ended up losing some custody. So let's put it that way, okay? So when I tell you that the court doesn't give a shit about the father's sister's feelings, they don't care. They care about what's best for that child. And my child was a teenager, so he had some input too. So that does make a difference. But in family court, all that matters is what's best for that baby. So his sister, I hate to tell you, you're not going to be able to testify to how you felt and get all that bullshit in either. And if you're lucky enough to tell your opinion and your feelings on the matter, the judge isn't going to care. The judge is only going to care if Kelsey is fit to take care of her baby. But going back to the trial today, I'm actually I'm shocked and not shocked in a way that, well, let's put it this way. I am not shocked that they didn't bring the text messages in after what the judge said about them. I feel that the judge gave away a little too much when he said what he said on Friday regarding those text messages to the Commonwealth. They're like, well, the judge sees it, but it's not really giving what we thought it would. So let's not even bring them in. So then why did you even bring Justin to the stand? Because again, you had a grown man sitting there with no emotion, but supposedly so afraid that his child, who he refused to see and barely hold, and called babysitting, being a parent, he called babysitting. Why the fuck did you put him on the stand? We just got done with family court in July. We won full custody of our youngest, and she got very little visitation. Oh, she thought she would get full custody because she is his mother. But yeah, yeah. And that's the point. Like most states will side with the mother unless you are like, I hate to say even a cracked out hoe, because unfortunately they won't even take them from cracked out hoes sometimes because they're the mother. If they see that it's in any sort of benefit to have the mother in the life of their child, they are not going to take them away. But they are going to consider what is best for that child. And most unfortunately, sometimes they go above and beyond, thinking that having a mother, whether they're a bad or good mother, is more beneficial than just taking the mother away, or taking the child away and never being able to see the mother. But unfortunately, that's not the case sometimes. But this is my point. There is no evidence whatsoever, besides Justin's word, that she was a danger to her baby. So no judge in their right mind, mind you, not in Massachusetts. These morons in Massachusetts, what they did to her. I mean, that's a whole nother story. That he even got this restraining order and was able to take that baby away is a completely, like, I just don't know how this happens. You couldn't get away with that here in Michigan. No fucking way. The amount of hoops you have to go through just to get CPS to investigate something like that. And I was pleasantly surprised when they brought up how Officer Daly, right, is a mandated reporter. And yet he didn't report anything that was reported to him. So I'm sorry, right there tells me that Justin isn't really reliable. Because if you are a mandated reporter and someone comes to you and says, my baby's in danger, you are mandated. That's what a mandated reporter is. You are forced. You are literally legally responsible to report that to CPS. And if you don't, you not only can lose your job, you can get charged if something were to happen to that child. So it tells you something. If a mandated reporter doesn't report the information, it's not exactly reliable. And somehow he was able to get an ex parte restraining order with zero evidence. Supposedly he was going to give you all these texts, but they never got them. It's absolute bullshit. I'm just, it's a very sad thing when the right kind of someone like Kelsey Fitzsimmons, I'm not going to say I knew what was in her mind. I'm not going to say maybe she didn't have some sort of somewhere ill intentions, especially towards herself, which is the most probable considering what she was going through, mentally and psychologically speaking. Most women would have that sort of reaction if not only they lost their fiance, they lost their future, and now they're about to lose their baby. Not to mention, she just got approved to go back to work after seeking help for postpartum depression, which I have said several times already is one of the hardest things for a mother to do, because of the shame and the guilt that they feel and the judgment that they feel they're going to get seeking help for something like that. And the fact that she knew well enough to seek help, no matter that shame, guilt, and judgment, and get better for her baby. She's miles above a lot of other mothers who suffer in silence. She did the right thing and she got punished for it. Justin's sister admitted on the stand that she wrote that RO because Justin was shaking. Yeah, I heard that. I don't think it had anything to do with Justin shaking. I think it has everything to do with his family wanting this done and them taking control of the situation. Because, if he was so worried, that he was shaking and freaking out, why the hell didn't he tell his friends, like, hey, we got to do something, I'm freaking out? Why didn't he go there and be with his baby? His feelings for Kelsey, or lack of feelings for Kelsey, were more important than his love for his child. And that tells you everything you need to know. Yeah, most mothers, I think, I just, it's disgusting. I worked in mental health, especially for a couple of years through COVID. I saw people do one of the hardest things they had to do, which is seek help. Admitting that you need help and seeking that help is half of the battle, as they say. I had to turn people away because we couldn't get appointments, because we didn't have anybody in the office telling them we didn't have appointments for months down the line. And it broke my heart to the point where I literally had to leave the profession because I couldn't take it anymore. I was going to break. So people who actually take that step, know they need help, and actually seek it out should be commended, not punished. She wouldn't have been cleared to go back to active duty if they thought she shouldn't have, first of all, shouldn't have been back to work as a police officer, no less, and carry a pew-pew. Okay? They cleared her to do so. I do not know how none of that was considered in the matter. Hey, Nicola. How are you? I'm sorry. I'm just going off about the Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I did see you. I was watching with Baker all day. I wasn't really chatting because I had other things I had to do, but I listened to the entire thing today and I have a lot to say. So I'm ranting a bit right now about it. It's just, I don't even know. Like, every time I try to put into words, especially about Justin and his ridiculous behavior, all I can think of is selfishness, arrogance, and his family. I mean, I don't think he gave two shits about having custody of that child. I think it was all his family, and they pushed him to do something. And how he got that restraining order, still to this day, I do not understand how anybody could give him the right to take that child from their mother without any proof. None. Rant away. Thank you. I do that sometimes. But it's disgusting. And I don't remember if they even announced, like, what judge, Maylin, maybe signed that RO. If this is someone that has a habit of doing this sort of thing. Because I sure would like to know. And when family court, I pray to God that once I pray and pray that Kelsey's found not guilty, and that once she goes to family court, and I hope they make it quick. I think it was in, someone said there was a court date already for family court, and I can't remember when it is. But I don't see how in any way, shape, or form they can keep that child from her. And how they got around even some sort of supervised visitation, like how he got immediate full custody. She doesn't get to see him at all. RO, like I've never seen that in my entire life, unless that the person was like admitted to a hospital, and I'm like a psych hospital, like woo, you know, or into rehab because they have a drug addiction or something to that effect. And normally it's a temporary RO based on, like, if it's rehab, it's based on, following certain steps, getting better, checking in, follow ups, and such. And normally, pretty quickly, if they're doing the right thing, they get supervised visits. And for this woman to be stripped from her baby for so long with now not even a fucking supervised visit, it makes no sense. Hey, Angie. They wanted to stick it to her by taking the baby. It's sickening. The thing he said about her shooting. Yeah. Like I said, he wanted to say, him and his sister both wanted to say so much on that stand. His sister, I mean, you could see technically, not technically, but like, you know what I mean? See the steam coming out of her ears. Okay. She was pissed that she couldn't just say whatever she wanted on that stand. And I'm sorry, this is criminal court. And this is Jeannie Lynn actually asked me a couple people asked me my opinion on the bench trial versus a jury trial. And I'm going to get into that, but give me 1 second. The judge with the RO hasn't been mentioned anywhere. That's what I wondered. I didn't think so, but I didn't know if I could have missed it easily. Yeah, yes, definitely a wild day. I'm so pissed. Like I can't. I had to rant for a little bit. Sounds like Courtney was the one who told Taylor that, not the alien. Told Daly what? I've said so many things. I have no idea. Sorry, Angie. Ugh. But yeah, I agree. That the family, whatever reason is behind that family wanting that baby, it had nothing to do with Kelsey being a bad mom. Let's just put it that way. That Kelsey would probably shoot the baby. Yeah. 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 It does. It sounds like this whole thing was spewed by Courtney. I mean, to be totally honest, his sister. I mean, the fact that she wrote out the statement, she admitting that she wrote out that statement basically tells you right there that everything that was said wasn't necessarily what Justin was feeling or thinking. And that is another issue with them agreeing and ordering this RO. You're ordering an RO based on not the father's words, but the father's sister's words now. Wait, Angie, what happened? It says, Angie, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so angry. I can't read. Sorry. I'm so angry. Yeah, we are all angry, I think. Maylin, sorry. I'm like, what happened? I'm so sorry. What? And I'm like, oh, I just can't read today. I'm seeing red, so I can't read. Oh my God. Oh, I am just oh, I know what I was. So Jeannie Lynn, I'm actually gonna Jeannie Lynn was I hope she comes because she did ask. She specifically is one that asked me about my opinion on the bench trial versus the jury trial, which I do want to get into. Hold on. Angie says, it almost sounds like to me that the Land family was happy that Kelsey, yeah, got shot, clearly thought that she was going to die given the fact that he tried to change the beneficiary of her pension. Yeah, I think they all thought she was going to, you know, pass away. And when she survived, they were all screwed. I mean, let's see. How many times has the Commonwealth prosecution, whatever we call it, the state here in Michigan, um, how many times has the Commonwealth's theory changed? At least 4. So that tells me that at least the very first statement was made probably on the fact that they thought she was gonna pass away. And then when they realized she was gonna survive, they're like, fuck, I better change this and I better change this because this can be, you know. And now here at the day of court, they changed it again. The day the trial starts, the opening statement was different again. Which now makes a lot more sense because he worked at Fidelity. Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that part of it because it really has no bearing on this case, but it does go I mean, Justin's actions, unfortunately and unfortunately in a way, have no bearing on the criminal case. Now, when it comes to family court, that's going to be a whole different story. But definitely, Angie, it definitely makes sense that he knew his way around working into a computer, whether it was his or not, whether he had to hack in, whether he knew the password, I don't know. But the fact that he went right, like that was he went the day after she was shot, kicked in her freaking door, and stole a bunch of shit. Stole. Under the preface that he was supposedly going to get his things that couldn't wait. It just couldn't wait. He had to get in there that day, damn it. And that goes to a whole nother story about the fact that he couldn't meet Kelsey because he didn't have gas money. What kind of firefighter who makes the money he makes doesn't have gas money? Where are you spending all your money, Justin? And I truly think I and reading those text messages, the ones that I did read the other day, they were scripted, in my opinion. They were written in a way where he knew somehow that people were going to read them. And that's the whole like that's scary because what kind of guy who's supposedly in that much fear for his child and himself stays that calm in text messages? No one. When Bradel asked his sister if Justin broke down the door, I lost it. Yeah. That was awesome. And see, as nice as it was for us watching him say something like that to her, this is where, it goes back to what I was discussing, a bench trial versus a jury trial. Now, when I first found out that it was Angie, I would, but I'm already on with Mary B tonight because I've had to cancel my I've had to cancel and reschedule my projection psych night with Mary B three times now. Oh my God. So we're going to go on tonight. But if you're up for tomorrow, hey, I'd love to go on with you tomorrow and talk about it. Hey, Shelly. And Justin wasn't calm on his calls to the police at all. No, thank you, Shelly. Yes, exactly. And that's exactly why I said those text messages feel scripted. Like he knew someone was going to read them. He couldn't stay calm on a call, exactly as Shelly put, on a call to his fellow first responders. Okay, remind you, he is a firefighter and he is calling other cops saying the shit he said. Nope, I'm not going to pay for a detail and I'm just making a record and I want it on the record that you guys are denying me a detail and blah. And he got so pissed off. And yet you want me to believe that the woman that he's accusing of basically having the mentality of unaliving him and his 4-month-old baby, that he's just all calm and cool, talk about calm, cool, and collected, are those text messages. And I'm so glad, speaking of calm, cool, and collected, that Bradel brought up the point that you can't have it both ways. You cannot say that your officer was calm, cool, and collected, but yet had an excited utterance. Sorry, doesn't work that way. Hey, Cheryl. Well, thanks for joining. We'll hang around with you at the supermarket. Okay, I was gonna suggest tomorrow, but Turtle Boy. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's figure something out. I know it's so hard to schedule around everyone else, which makes it so difficult. But yeah, let's definitely talk about it. And he wasn't going to escalate it at all, right? Oh, he was going to escalate it all. Yeah, I will gladly escalate this, or whatever he said. Yeah. And I think that's what he did. He escalated it by giving cops the mentality that this woman was on the edge of just shooting up everyone. And I think that played a role in Officer Noonan's mentality. And watching him explain how she pulled up the weapon like that, straight at his face, bullshit. I call bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I'm sorry, but if you are less than 10 feet, you are SWAT and military trained, you had enough time. You could have quicker, I should say. You could have, how do I say this? You could have tackled her so fast. It took you longer to pull out your weapon and then scream, Kelsey, don't do it, than it would have to just lunge at her and tackle her to the floor. And supposedly you're so trained by SWAT and military and all this that you fucking miss. Your first shot missed. I believe that he was shaking, and that's why he missed. And that means that he was not calm, cool, and collected, that he misread the situation, and he's not enough of a man to admit it. That is my opinion. He's a douche and sounds robotic. Yeah. I mean, and again, him sitting on that stand, just like all of them, none of them got emotional. I'm sorry. I would have been up there, and you guys know, I would have been sobbing after the first question. Even if the first question was, what is your name? I would have been bawling my eyes out. And yes, I understand that not everyone is a crier like me. But show some damn emotion. None of them, besides the sister, She showed anger. She was pissed. And she wasn't pissed about what happened. She was pissed she wasn't allowed to say what she wanted on the stand. It's disgusting that none of them showed any sort of emotion about what happened, the situation. I mean, even Noonan, let's say this was, and I don't believe this, so but this is a hypothetical. Let's just say hypothetically that it went down exactly as he said. That she pointed that weapon at his face and he had no choice but to shoot his, okay? Let's pretend. This is a woman that you consoled. This is a woman you worked with, no matter for how long. This is a woman you shared an emotional situation with as a fellow police officer. And yet you shot her. You almost unalived her. And yet you don't even show the least bit of concern that you did that. If it went down as he said it did, you'd think he'd still show emotion. Like, I couldn't believe I had to do something like this. I feel so bad, but it was her and me. I just didn't have a choice. Nothing. Nothing like that came out of his mouth. So yeah, exactly. Robotic. And I think they all just said, I got to get up here and say my script because if I don't, I'm going to end up spilling the truth. Because none of them, if you are talking about that situation and you are telling the truth, you're still going to get emotional about it. Because let's say you didn't even care for Kelsey. You are a cop. That means you care for human life. That shooting anyone should cause some emotion. I did not see one shred of emotion from that man. Zero. None. So it only leads to me to think and believe more convincingly that his story is a complete lie, a complete fabrication, and he told himself, I just have to say this or else I'm screwed. So I got to keep, emotions out of it. Because I'm sorry, if the truth is the truth, if what he said was true, he still should have showed some emotion about it. And because he showed none, I believe that that whole story is false. And that's how he could show no emotion because there's no emotion towards something that's not true. It is very hard to show emotion, let's say, to something that is not true. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know any of that. I didn't know where they went. I'll be honest. I don't know if someone went over that or it was reported anywhere, but I never saw that, never heard anything about it until today that a firefighter who is supposed to run into a burning building or burning whatever to help their fellow human beings. He did not have that child in his hands. He knew that baby was safe because he saw his sister supposedly take off with it. His first response is, I need to get the hell out of here. Yeah, you're a real hero, Justin. But that's what they are trained to do, prove the facts of the case. Yeah? But that's what I'm saying. If you prove the facts and if what you are saying is true, this is my opinion, of course. And I have every respect for anyone who disagrees with me. I love you guys no matter what. I have no problem with people disagreeing with me or, even I've been persuaded to see things differently. I appreciate different points of view. So let me say right now, my opinion is that someone as a first responder, someone who is a cop, should have empathy, warmth, and just caring for their fellow human being. That if what he said was true, that he still would show some sort of emotion because this is a fellow cop that he shot. This is a fellow human being. He showed nothing, no, zero. And I mean, and again, maybe I'm expecting too much, but for someone who is in his position, is a cop, first responder, knows Kelsey, and then denies that he knew her, but they went through something pretty emotional together. They went through a pretty serious thing together. Even if they didn't know each other for that long, they were still coworkers. They still shared something emotional together. If he has empathy and caring for his fellow human being, his fellow officer, and he has to shoot one of them, it's her him or it's her or me. It's her or me. You'd still think you'd see some sort of emotion out of that. Like I didn't get joy out of that. I did not want to do it, but I had no choice. You didn't see anything. Nothing like that. Hey, Yummy. Okay, Kazi, you're good. Whenever you're ready. Kazi's joining me, guys, today. Noonan was definitely trying to distance himself from her. They were friends, coworkers. Yeah. And I don't know if they were truly friends or not, but they were coworkers. And even when you're coworkers, if you share something as emotional as someone unaliving themselves right in front of you, there's a connection there. There's always supposedly there's a connection. The minute you become fellow officers, you have a connection. So when a cop gets on the stand and talks about not only a fellow officer that he went through what he went through with Kelsey, um, all of those things, to me, there's a problem when you do not show anything, any emotion whatsoever about doing what you did. And to me, the only reason to not show emotion for doing what he did is because his story is false. And it's hard to show emotion when what you're saying is not true. Yeah, they had a bond because of that call they went on together. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like even if that hadn't have happened, most people, most cops, I know several cops. I mean, as we see, cops stick up for each other all the time, even when they don't know each other. The minute you become fellow cops, there's a bond in a way. if you get what I'm saying. And for an officer to have to shoot a fellow cop, whether they're friends or just coworkers or don't even know each other, in my opinion, to not show any emotion about having to do that is because what he's saying, he has no emotion about because it's not true. That is how I see it psychologically, mentally, just from an outsider's point of view. And I'm not saying I'm right. Maybe I am wrong, but it's very, very, very hard to believe. Hey, Danny. Sorry, I'm just ranting. I'm just going on and on about the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case. I'm disgusted by all of it. Did you watch the entire trial, Danny? Aw, thank you. I'm so glad you guys are all here today. Thank you. Both Noonan and Justin were trying so hard not to look at Kelsey, especially Justin. Yeah, I did notice that. As you guys know, even watching the Karen Reed trial, you guys know I'm like constantly staring at their faces. Like I'm not a behavior expert or behavior analyst or whatever, not. But I do feel that I have a good sense of when someone by their facial expressions how they're feeling inside. I've always kind of felt that way. I've always been that way. I can tell when someone goes instantly from being happy to mad or something over something I said when they're in front of me. And there a lot of them I had. Yep, 12 times. I don't think I could watch it more than once. Once was enough. I mean, right now, I probably obviously watch parts of it again. But I I think taking emotion out of it too, that when Baker went over, specifically because he went over with the new like diagram slash picture of the room and them saying here's a door, okay, no, not a door, it's a doorway, and she's over here and she's over here, oh, she's standing here, nope, she's on her knees, nope, she's got one knee down. I mean, how many times the story changed is already ridiculous enough. But them seeing how small that room is and listening to his story that he told on the stand today, to me, again, it was fabricated because it didn't make sense. And I wish actually put it on my Amazon wish list because I'd love to do things because I'm such a visual learner. I'd really like to start to do things like Baker kind of does with a whiteboard and a dry erase, marker and things to kind of draw what I'm seeing too, like how I kind of see things. Because if any of you are visual learners like me, sometimes when people say stuff, I try to picture what they're saying and I can't. So, but when someone points it out and draws it out or shows me what they're trying to say, it makes a lot more sense. And so when I can do something like that, I'll be excited to do it. Um, I guess this is a perfect time, as any. Thank you, Mayland, for listing that because I do have a Amazon wish list that someone had suggested I make, so I did for my channel. Right now, just because of what I'm going through personally with the lack of funds that fuck you, both Boost Mobile stole from me, PayPal is always um, beneficial and helpful to me. I mean, I'm struggling getting groceries and shit right now, even. Um, it's just a sad situation. I'm not going to talk about it much today because I don't want to cry on you guys like I do too much already. Um, so any help for me in the situation now and to help my channel grow is obviously so much appreciated, and everything that you guys have done already. I actually am doing something special for everyone who has donated and then will donate to me. Um, I'm working on that. It's not complete yet, but I will debut it when it's ready for everyone that does donate in some sort of way. Um, no matter how they donate or support the channel, I am doing a special something for everyone who does. I do have PayPal, I have Chime, and I also have a friend of mine made a Give Send Go. And the biggest thing I can ask you guys, it's only been a couple days, no one's donated anything. Um, I don't have a large like social group outside of YouTube. Um, the more you guys can share that with anyone would be the best. And I just appreciate again all of you being here, hanging out with me every day, having some fun, watching, getting some info regarding the law and whether it's my psych nights, which hopefully will now start on a regular basis after having to reschedule a couple times with Mary B. Last night, of course, I didn't want to interrupt, TV. And then I got so tired, it was like I didn't want to postpone it any later on the same night. So I asked Mary B if she was available tonight. So crossing our fingers that we'll finally get that in tonight, talking about projection at 10:30 p.m. tonight. So I just wanted to say that to you all. I appreciate you guys so much for being here all the time. Hey, Dodo, thanks for coming. So yeah, that's that. So again, if anyone wants to share, I actually didn't know that PayPal kind of has like a fundraising thing like the Give Send Go. I actually kind of wish I would have had her put it just through my PayPal. It probably would have been simpler. And I'm thinking I might still do that, being that the Give Send Go hasn't received anything yet. I might cancel it and switch it over to PayPal, as some people have been able to donate to me already through PayPal. It might make things easier all the way around to condense, into one, where it's donating for what I'm going through, financially, and support for my channel. But just keep an eye. If I decide to cancel a Give Send Go, of course, I will let you guys know. So again, thank you. Sorry that I'm talking so much about that. So anyways, yeah, I mean, going back to Kelsey, you shared. Yes, thank you, Malin. I did see you did that. I so appreciate you. I do have a Twitch account. I just don't really know how to use it. I try to avoid the cesspool that is Twitter. I have enough shit going on in my own life. I don't need to read all the drama crap that goes on Twitter. It gets so out of hand and ridiculous that it's just something I don't need right now. But I do have one. I just, like I said, I don't even really know how to use Twitter. I don't even know, like when you see someone's comment to someone else's post, I literally don't even know how to see the original post. I get so irritated at it that I'm just like, screw it. I don't care. And I get out of it. So literally, like that's how I literally don't know how to use it. So anyways, like I said, Kazi's joining me today. We are going to go over Lucky Loughrin's testimony from the Karen Read trial. I am not going to be streaming too late today because Mary B and I are going on tonight at 10:30. So I don't want, I want to have a little bit of time in between so I can have some dinner. I have to make something, of course, because as you know, I don't have extra money to, do anything. Order. I literally bought a few groceries yesterday, so at least that will tide me over. And I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. I'll cry. Oh, sweet. 35 new followers. Nice. I literally have like 3 followers, Maylin, and one of them I had to ban because one of them was the Barons because I made one stinking comment on one of their spaces that I was listening to during, when I was sharing at one of the nights on voice chat in the Discord. I made one comment, and one of the Barons decided they needed to follow me apparently. And yeah, I have no need for that shit. I have enough. Up to 28 subs. Woohoo! Go Maylin. Woohoo! It's not easy. Like, I'm at 170, I think, now. And I mean, it's hard. Like, to work yourself, like, even doing the shorts. I've done a few shorts. I stopped doing them because right now I've been working on these lives. But YouTube has changed the way they're doing their algorithms and basically only having shorts on your initial page now. So like if you don't do shorts, you're almost screwed. It's I don't like the way that YouTube has changed the way they're doing things, unfortunately. Oh, thank you, Maylin. So thankfully I have a wonderful mod named Maylin who has started making shorts out of my own lives, and I am in the process of the couple that she did send to me. I'm in the process. I haven't even listened to them yet. I'm assuming they're perfect just as is because I trust her, but I still want to listen to them just in case. And I hate listening to my own voice. I really do. But that'll be something probably I'll work on tomorrow and getting some of those shorts up. But they make it way more difficult to get in the algorithm and get new subs. I mean, I wouldn't even be where I'm at if it wasn't for Baker. Baker shared my channel on his channel and got me from, at that point, I was at like 60 some subscribers, and I jumped to like 130 in like literally 20 minutes because of him. And I appreciate him more than he'll ever know for doing that and for providing me entertainment every day, of course. I have to clip the F boost bubble. Yes, please do. That'll be great. That'll be a perfect clip to spread around. Fuck you, Boost Mobile. Although I think with the shorts, I would have to bleep it out. But that's okay. The bleep is good enough. Because the ones like I still don't know. I haven't been streaming long enough to truly know like what I should mark 18 and over or not. Kind of dumb. I mean, it says if you use excessive, foul language, and I do swear a lot, but what is YouTube? What's YouTube version of excessive? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm not promoting violence. I'm not promoting angry things. I just have this is my reaction to things. It's how I verbalize my anger and frustration at things that I am seeing. And or dealing with. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not monetized yet, so it's not an issue really right now. But once I do become monetized, if I have to watch my language or I have to just mark every one of my lives where I swear a little too much, 18 and over, so be it. Hey, James. Thanks for joining me. So anyways, so now at least I got my rant out about the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case, which again, I think most of you feel pretty much the same way I do, and that it's awful. I mean, it's awful to watch. It's awful to think about what Kelsey has gone through for how long without seeing her baby. And now having to deal with, not only does she have to struggle and fight so hard to survive, She's now suffering from, I believe bullet fragments are still inside of her. She still has to deal with that ridiculous scram for no fucking reason. And again, that goes back to Justin's word on things and some stupid judge who thought it was appropriate, where alcohol wasn't an issue, to order someone to have a scram device, which is just insane. You took a little nap after, Kelsey? I don't blame you. Thanks, Maylin. I love you guys. I love all of you. But Maylin, I have to tell you, you guys are all wonderful, but Maylin has gone and done a lot extra for me, and I just want to tell you, Maylin, how much I truly appreciate everything that you've done. So yeah. But I love you all. Just for being here and hanging out with me, just gives me something to look forward to every day. Yeah, I mean, it gives me joy to hang out with you guys, chat with you guys about whatever. I couldn't ask for anything else. If I wasn't looking forward to possibly getting to the point where I might be evicted, I wouldn't even have brought my financial situation into the matter. But that's where I'm worried. Sorry, guys. No matter how hard I try, it just doesn't want to ever, like, I can't talk about it without getting so upset so hard. I'm so sorry. And the reason is just so people don't think I'm like fibbing about this, is because my apartment that I'm in is a furnished apartment. I'm not on a lease per se. I pay month to month. So even if I go 1 month behind, he can basically kick me out. So I just wanted to explain that so someone didn't think like, how can they kick you out? You got to go through, if he has to evict you and you have this kind of amount of time, and it's not like that when you live in an apartment month to month. Because I'm not on a lease per se. I'm on a month to month lease. So if I don't pay, I'm in big trouble. Oh, sorry, Kazi. When I cry, I don't even look at the screen when I cry. I'm trying to like stop myself. So, all right, Kazi.
Yeah. No problem.
I'm sorry. I can't. Like, every time I try to just tell people what's going on, I can't even do it without crying. I hate it.
No, it's all good. We get it, Um,
Anyway, tell me your thoughts about Kelsey. Did you watch all of it?
I did. Yeah, I watched most of it. TC Brando's great. He's right here. He'll be up on my lap in a minute, I'm sure.
Oh, yay.
Because whenever I go on the computer, he always wants to jump up on my lap. He'll be here in a minute. But yeah, the Kelsey thing, it's been very short. The witnesses have been very short.
Yeah.
Bradel questioned Justin for a short time and basically got him to admit that he, basically not discrediting him, but his credibility.
Yeah. 100%.
Shit, hold on. I gotta take this call. Give me 1 minute, okay?
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even talk about that yet, because speaking of family court, now that he's on the record as to why he got suspended or on paid administrative leave, no less, which is a fucking vacation, but I have a whole other thoughts about that. It's on record why he got put on administrative leave, and it can now be admitted into family court, which is a bonus for Kelsey. Love seeing Justin's sister getting caught out in a lie with the video of her just walking into the house. No one let them in. Yeah. I didn't know that was a lie until I saw the video. I don't know if that's, like I said, I haven't completely watched like everything there is about Kelsey. I've watched a lot, but obviously not everything. And I've never seen that. I never heard it. And the fact that she did admit said several times that an officer let her in, and then Bradel showing that video where, no, you just walked in like you owned the place. Yeah. She definitely got caught in a lie. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a cold, so I apologize. And crying obviously doesn't help. She couldn't get out of the courtroom quick enough. Yeah, she was pissed. I don't know if you heard in the beginning what I was saying, Dodo, about her. I mean, you could feel the anger coming off of her because she wanted to say so much shit, and being that the judge obviously wasn't going to allow that crap, not to mention it's of no consequence. This is about one officer shooting another one. What her baby, one of the cops' baby's father or sister has to say, or how she felt, plays no role whatsoever in what happened in that room. And she wanted to act like they were in family court, and so she could say everything that basically she said in that ridiculous statement that she wrote for Justin and admitted she wrote for him. Says a lot. I love that. When Bradel got him to admit that, I was like, ooh, family court. Ooh, here we go. Yep. That's how I hear you saying it, Maylin. I might fall in love with Bradel if he keeps this up after trial. Yeah, I mean, he's right up there with Alessi and Jackson and Yannetti now. I mean, I've always appreciated Bradel, but I've never really seen him in action like this, and never really knew, like, I mean, I'll be honest, the few times I've seen him in court with Kelsey, it was very minimal and obviously wasn't anything substantial. But this, yeah, today he was definitely the man. Hey, Steven, he's lurking while driving. Now I got that like tone of voice. Sorry, I just can't help myself. Well, I'm glad we could follow with you, Steven. Be careful while driving, as always. That is exactly how I did say it. See? It's like, I get you, Maylin. It's like, ooh, family court, ooh, here we go. That's exactly how I could hear you saying it, and I had to say it that way too. That's funny. All right, sorry guys, I do have to blow my nose. I know you guys don't want to hear it, so hold on, I'm going to mute you, or mute me. Hold on. Okay, better. You are just impersonating me, no problem. Awesome. Yeah, I it's definitely a good thing, and that's probably the only thing that came out of Justin's testimony, which is sad because he really had no reason to be called to the stand, since they didn't bring in the text messages. And like I was saying earlier, I truly think that the Commonwealth probably was debating up until that last second whether to bring them in or not because of what the judge said. I think the judge gave away too much when he said, I think this helps your client, Mr. Bradel. Like, the Commonwealth was like, what? And then, unfortunately, had all weekend to think about it. Like, if the judge already thinks this favors Kelsey Fitzsimmons, maybe we shouldn't bring them in. So they probably called him to the stand in hopes he would say something that, I don't know, might make those text messages look better for them and then realized, nope, they're not going to make him look any better, and decided not to do it. Oh, shit. Bear with me, guys. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Because I want to hear Kelsey's position on the Kelsey Fitzsimmons before we move over to Lucky Loughrin's testimony today. So I don't know. Is anyone still streaming that was streaming the Kelsey case too? That's why I postponed today's stream. Normally like to start about 1 o'clock. So especially when I do a late night stream, like I plan on doing tonight, that I get a little bit more time in between. But I still wanted to go live today, especially after watching it and vent my feelings on the Kelsey. So, and knowing in advance that Lucky Loughrin's testimony isn't that long. After Kazi and I talk about the Kelsey case, we probably will watch Lucky's testimony, and that'll be it for today. And then tomorrow we'll be getting into the rest of the testimony. I think what's still ARCA to come, and the Richard Green and stuff. So, but we're almost done with trial 1. Then we're going to go into trial 2. But in between, I am digging out. I haven't done it yet. And Maylin, if you know where I can find the interview with the jury or any of the jurors from trial 1, I really would like to go over those interviews before we start trial 2. I asked my daughter what she wants for dinner, and she says, "Can you get takeout from the place next to the supermarket?" That's the kids for you, Cheryl. Like, dude, I just went grocery shopping and you want fast food or, a carryout. That's the kids. You gotta love them. My son would probably do. He would say, "Oh, can we have pizza?" Yeah. Kids never want to wait for mom or dad to cook dinner. They want it now. My poor credit card. Oh, Cheryl, I'm sorry. I do. I mean, groceries alone are ridiculous. I mean, let's just put it this way, okay, guys? I mean, literally, I bought, every time I've ordered groceries in the last couple weeks, I literally have to buy the bare minimum to get me through. So I buy bread, eggs, and then, my water flavoring, because it lasts a long time. One little bottle, thankfully, is only $3, the one that I'd use. And then when I can splurge, I get a couple Coca-Colas, of course, for my caffeine. But let's just say even that, just to fill in the absolute necessities. And this is including things like butter, which I'm now out of. I used my last little bit to make my eggs yesterday, butter. All those kind of things. Just bread, eggs, my water flavoring, some Coca-Cola cost me like $30-some. Okay? Like, seriously. And when you are behind and are about to owe rent, it's like every dollar makes a big difference. And it's insane. Like, groceries are ridiculous nowadays. I mean, I have to say, I'm very thankful that the cost of eggs have gone down, because I've basically been living on them. That and French toast, because you can make French toast with bread and eggs and butter. but it's crazy. Like, it's insane. My kid would ask for Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, I'd be like, nope, sorry. I can't do that. That's another thing. Do you know how long it's been since I've literally made myself like a homemade hamburger? Like, I can't even afford ground meat. It's so fucking expensive. You used to be able to buy a pound to a pound and a half for like $4. Now it's like 10 for a pound of freaking ground meat. Like, it's what? It's a lot. And when you're cooking for yourself, like, what's the point? That's why I end up making mac and cheese, because a box of elbow noodles is what, $2? And then a brick of cheese. I use Colby when I make my homemade macaroni cheese. It's my grandma's recipe. A brick of cheese, if you can get on sales and badly priced, of course you have to buy the store brand, which is okay. But then you need milk and butter and seasoning. Thankfully, I am stocked up on like salt and pepper and that kind of stuff. I don't have to buy any of that anytime soon. But I mean, it adds up so quickly. It sucks. I eat a lot of chicken. Chicken's not even cheap. Like, I think the last time I bought chicken, because I used to make a lot when I didn't have to worry about my grocery bill, really. My grandpa had a recipe for like fried chicken, like chicken, really kind of like chicken finger, chicken tenders almost, but it's the breading, his recipe. I used to buy just like a small pack of the chicken breast tenderloin, like the long strips. So I didn't have to like cut the chicken up. It was already cut into like long strips, and I could then bread it. But even that right there, I went to do that the other day and I couldn't do it, because that means I had to buy a box of crackers. I had to buy this, the ingredients for the breading, and then the chicken alone. I think one small thing of chicken costs like $9. And it's like, when I can buy, cheese and macaroni that will last me 3 days for $9, I have to pick and choose. And it's sad, because I mean, thankfully I'm only cooking for me. I only have to worry about what I eat. Whatever. But I think about families who really aren't probably eating all that healthy, because the healthy stuff is expensive. And it's bothersome. It makes me sad. A lot of sad things. And this is why I preach every day on my stream that you have to find levity in life. You have to find some joy and some smiles and some laughter wherever you can get it. Because if you don't, I mean, who can blame someone for being anxious and depressed in this world? If you have to dwell and you have to deal with these kind of things every single day, which most people do nowadays with the cost of living, it's sad. So that's why I always say, as much as I can, that we have to laugh. You have to smile. You have to find ways to sneak in joy where you can get it. Because if you don't, what's the point? Even McDonald's is expensive these days. Yeah. I remember when I was at school, I could get a breakfast hash brown on a morning for 50p. Okay, around 60 cents. Now they're nearly €2. Yeah, €2. I'm assuming that's what it is. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and McDonald's is not healthy by no means. But yeah, if you need something to eat, you grab what's cheap. And the things that are technically cheap and bad for you aren't even cheap anymore. Happy Meals used to be $2, now they're $4. Yeah, everything. My fried chicken tastes like Chick-fil-A chicken. My boys come running when I fry chicken. Nice. Yeah, yes, I didn't know if did I say hi to you, Nicola? I'm sorry if I didn't. Hi everyone. Dodo, Maylin, James, Nicola, Cheryl, I know. I'll make sure I didn't miss any. Steven, lurking and driving. I appreciate you guys all so much for being here. Maylin says, I will be here. And TBJ, she has a premiere in 5 minutes. Oh, she does shit. All right, tell her I'll be on rewatch or replay crew. Why do I always say rewatch? Replay crew. Yes, you did. Don't worry, you were mid-rant. Oh, okay. So, see, I was mid-rant, so I forgot. Sorry. That happens to my brain, you know. Especially when it takes a lot to truly piss me off. Like to the point where I am truly, truly angry. I talked a little bit about this the other day. Like, if I get to the point where I can't even cry because I'm so freaking angry, like, you know, you pissed me off. You know, like, just, you better get out of my way. I hope everything's okay with Kazi. Well, I don't know how long he's going to be. He might be, because he had to take a phone call. So why don't we maybe start Lucky's testimony, so I don't delay this too long and then have to cut his testimony off. Hold on, let me pull it up. And we can start it, and then when Kazi comes back, I'm going to get his opinions on some things regarding the case. Bear with me a moment. Here we go. Okay, let me share it with you guys. Bear with me. All right. Being pissed off is better than being pissed on. Toto, you're 100% correct. I would definitely rather be pissed off than pissed on. Thank you very much. Happy Meal is $7 here. Yeah, I don't even know how much a Happy Meal is. I mean, my son's 22, so it's been a really long time since I bought a Happy Meal. I'm going to be honest with you. $7 is about the same as 4 pounds. Got you. Thank you. I'm not really good at the equivalent. I used to know the equivalent between like Canadian and US dollars, but even that has changed since when I used to go over to Canada when I was 19 and 20. Like, you could go over to the casino over there at 19. And I mean, you could go over there with like $30 American dollars and you'd get like $50 in Canadian dollars. Now it's not the same. I think theirs are actually worth more than ours now. I'm not 100% sure about that, obviously, but I think it's close anyways. Can I ask a stupid question, Cheryl? What is a Happy Meal and does it make you happy? A Happy Meal is a kid's meal from McDonald's. And it's supposed to make kids happy, apparently. The Happy Meal toys aren't even good anymore. No, they're not. Like, even when my son was little, you know, in the 2000s, in the early 2010s, they were terrible. They're just cheap pieces of plastic crap. They're not even like I remember my mom, when the Beanie Babies, oh my God, she used to drive around to like every McDonald's within like probably 3-hour driving distance, every which way, to collect those damn things. But now you get like toys that are worth like 5 cents. Oh, okay. I don't do takeaway food or fast food, whatever you call it. Yeah, we call it fast food, but yeah. I don't really do it anymore. I can't even remember when I had my McDonald's last. I'll be honest. It's been years. I don't do fast food. I think the last fast food I had was Taco Bell. And even Taco Bell. I mean, used to be able to go to Taco Bell and get like 3 tacos for like a couple bucks. And now it's like $1, what is it? Almost $2 for 1 taco? Like, ugh. I never moved on from the Happy Meal. That's all I order from McDonald's. Hey, that's okay. I know, actually, to be honest, I know a lot of adults who order Happy Meals just because they're trying to do like portion control from like a fast food. You know, they don't want to eat too much crap from a fast food place, so they get something that, you know, is less food and costs less. So, hey, nothing wrong with that. Or B, their kid doesn't want McDonald's, they do, and they get something that they can eat, either share or have, and then they give their kid the toy, you know, like stuff like that. I see that. And there's nothing wrong with it. And even if you don't have kids, so what? You're allowed to have a Happy Meal at any age. I fully support that. I rarely eat that shit. Yeah, I don't either. I'll be honest, I stay away from fast food just simply because in the last couple of years, especially really greasy food like fast food really starts to upset my stomach. Like, I don't know if it's just because of the medications I'm on or just because I'm older. I don't know. But like, I can't eat fast food, a lot of it, like even a regular meal from fast food without getting like sick to my stomach. I'd rather order a pizza. It was always a treat to me when I was younger. My mom would only buy me one after I'd been to the dentist. That was the bargain. Oh, well, hey, that works. And now it's like a treat for yourself. You know, it's funny. My mom, I think I talked to you a little bit about this before, but my mom used to take me and well, let's put it this way. My mom, me, my brother, and my grandma used to travel to Denver every year when I was little. Because I had my great grandma, my great aunt, uncle, which was my grandma's sister and brother-in-law, and you know, my extended cousins lived out there. And my great aunt that lived in Denver, she worked for a school. And way back then, so this was in the late 80s, probably all through the 80s, basically. She used to get these certificates for free cheeseburgers from McDonald's. She used to literally like have piles of them because she got them somehow to give out to the kids at the school. And then whatever she didn't give away or whatever, I don't remember the details of it or how she had so many, to be honest. But every time we went out to Denver, we always got McDonald's cheeseburgers because we got them for free. My mother would take us to McDonald's on Saturday pretty often. Yeah, see, I mean, that's it too. It's like it's a memory, you know, it's like a sensory memory too. Where you can taste and smell things that bring back memories. That your mom used to take you to McDonald's, like all of that. So it's a treat all the way around, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, guys. While we wait for Kazi, I am going to get started on Lucky's testimony. And then, like I said, once he comes back on, we will pause and go over some things again regarding Kelsey.
Good morning, sir. In a good loud voice, would you state your name and spell your last name?
Sure. It's Brian Loughrin. It's Loughran.
And where are you from,
Mr.
sir?
Loughrin, I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up as loud as you can, sir.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Put your mouth as close to the mic as you can. Where did you grow up, sir?
Canton, Mass.
Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
Both 35, 36 years.
And did you go to Canton Public Schools?
Yes.
Now, in the course of living
Market
in Canton,
Basket?
are you
I
familiar
never
with
heard
the
of it.
Albert family?
Yes.
Which members of the Albert family?
That's why I always go to
are you
Myers.
familiar with?
They
All
don't
of
always
them.
have the best like
And when you
food,
say all
like
of
as
them,
far
can
as
you
like
name the ones that
fresh food,
you were familiar with?
but they do
I
have
was
the
familiar with Brian,
best prices
Brian
around
Albert?
me besides Kroger.
Chris
when they
Albert.
have things on sale.
Brendan Albert, Kevin Albert, and I believe Kathy Albert is the sister, but I'm not 100% sure on her first name.
Okay, and those are the siblings that you had contact with and were familiar with?
Yes.
Did you know some better than others?
Yes.
Whom did you know the best?
Chris Albert.
What is the age difference between you and Chris Albert?
I believe we're the same age.
Did you graduate high school with him?
He went to a different high school, but yes,
Graduated at the same time.
correct.
And with regard to your familiarity with Chris Albert, can you explain to the jury how you became familiar with him and what your relationship with him has been?
I went to school with him, elementary school. We went to middle school. Then he transferred to a Catholic school. Then later in years, I began to work for Chris for D&E Pizza, delivering pizzas.
Okay. And
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Did he testify to that in the second trial? How do I not remember that? I didn't know he worked for Chris too. So see, he knew this family. He worked for Chris and still. Like, this tells you everything. Wow. Market Basket is only around New England. Ah, the food is the same as any supermarket, just cheaper. I wish we had one of those. I mean, Myers is basically that for us, I guess, but Myers, unfortunately, is like a department store. Like, it's like a Walmart, but like, I don't know. It's cleaner than a Walmart. Let's just put it that way. Because it has everything. It's not just food.
ages were you when you were delivering pizzas for D&E Pizza and Chris Albert?
I was 25, 26 years old.
And how many years did you deliver pizzas for him?
Up until I got married, 35.
So several years.
8 years.
8
Wow.
years, okay.
So see, he worked for 8
With
years.
regard to your interactions or knowledge of Kevin Albert, can you describe that?
Kevin Albert would be through D&E Pizza if he came in, through the police department, would see him on
That's why he
details.
called to get the Ford Edge towed. Yeah.
And
Like,
were you friendly with him?
I knew that he knew them, and I knew that he went to school with Chris, but I didn't know that he worked for them, let alone worked for them that long. Wow.
Yes.
With regard to Brian Albert, could you describe your interactions or your relationship with him?
Again, through D&E Pizzas, delivering pizzas to his house. Cordial, polite, would say hello.
All right. So you're friendly with the Albert family.
Correct.
Now, back in January of 2022, where were you working?
I was working for the town of Canton.
In what department?
I was working in the sewer department.
Is that also called the water department?
Yes, water and sewer are combined.
And under what heading is that?
The DPW.
It's under the DPW, the Department of Public Works.
Correct.
Now, back in January of 2022, were you one of the regular snow plowers for the town of Canton?
Yes.
And directing your attention to...
I gotta pause. I do remember wanting to punch Brendan in the face when he totally, pulled the I'm sorry, but when Lucky was talking about how he lost his wife, like that was just a sickening.
January 28th of 2022. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
What do you remember about that day, the 28th?
It was a potential blizzard. We had been given a start time.
All right. And when you say you had been given a start time, what does that mean?
It means that we're expected to be in our trucks at a certain time on our route.
Okay. And who gives those instructions back in January of 2022?
The supervisor for the Canton DPW,
And who was that at the time?
William Walsh.
Also known as Billy Walsh?
Yes.
Now, when were you called in to do plowing that evening or early morning?
We were told to be in by 2:30
And is that 2:30 a.m. or p.m.?
a.m.
Would that now be on January 29th?
Correct.
What time did you arrive at the DPW that early morning?
About 2:15.
When you got there, what did you need to do in order to go out plowing?
I needed to get into my truck and get that prepared to go out.
All right. And your truck, is there one that's specifically assigned to you when you call?
Yes.
And does that truck have any particular nickname?
Yes, it's called the Franken truck.
And why is it called the Franken truck?
It is a truck that has a lot of different parts than what it's required. It's not parts that were made for that specific truck.
An older one?
Yes, it was a truck that was very uncomfortable at the beginning to use. So they try to make it as comfortable as possible.
All right. And that particular truck, is it used for anything else other than snow plowing?
Yes, it's used for everyday use.
Okay. Now, so you get to the DPW at 2:15, you say that you get your truck ready. What does it that entail to get your truck ready, and how long does it take?
It takes about 5 minutes. We just basically you need to make sure that it's got enough gas in it, so we're not going to the route and running out of diesel fuel, which is not good. It's just basically going over the truck, making sure you have everything you need for that night.
And do you plow alone or with someone?
By myself.
Now, with regard to the visibility in your snowplow Franken truck, can you describe that for the jury, what you can see, what you can't see?
So the Franken truck has an air ride suspensions, an air ride seat. So the seat is raised so I can see over the hood.
Okay.
And I can see about 5 feet on either side of the passenger side, driver's side.
And when you say 5 feet, are you talking straight out from the?
From the windshield straight out.
All right. And what, if any, lighting do you have on Franken truck?
We have marking lights. We have 2 plow lights that are situated at the corners of the trucks, and it's up high. It illuminates very well. It's very well seen.
Okay. And with the extra set of lighting that you just described, how far can you see off to the sides, in front of you, and directly in front of you?
Probably 5 feet on the sides.
Well, so you already testified to that, 5 feet straight out.
Yeah.
But what about the sides going forward?
It's hard to decide to put into words, but I can see a real long distance. That visibility is fine. It is extremely. If you gave me probably 5, 10 feet, 15 feet out, maybe even further.
Okay. And with regard to the lighting, how much light does that give off?
Enormous amounts. It's almost driving with the spotlight.
And with regard to the air ride seats, what action did you take with those that particular night?
I raised it so that the bottom of my knees would hit the steering wheel.
And what, if any, obstructions, I should say, were in front of you that would prevent you from seeing what's in front of you or to the south?
Nothing.
All right. Now, do you have a specific route assigned to you?
Yes, I do.
Could you describe that route? And by the way, that specific route, was that the one that you were assigned on January 29th?
Correct.
Could you describe that for the jury?
Yes, it's a route that consists of Cedar Crest from Kings Road to Chapman Street and everything in between. There are a lot of streets I could name if you would like, but Fairview is one, Spring Lane is one, Cedar Crest, Kings Road. Those are pretty important roads that I would consider major roads on my route.
All right. Now, that particular night, if you got there at 2:15, what time do you think you were on the road by in Frankentruck?
I was on Cedar Crest about 2:30, 2:35.
Now, with regard to Cedar Crest, I would like to show you a map if I can. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I've handed you a document. If you could just review that to yourself and then look up at me when you're done. Do you recognize what's depicted on that?
Yes.
What is it?
It is my plow route and consisting of streets that I plow.
All right. And to be fair, that's a portion of your plow route, right?
Correct.
There are other areas of the city that you plow?
This actually depicts my actual physical route.
Oh, okay, great. And that's a fair and accurate representation of the streets as they existed back in January of 2022?
Yes.
I would offer that, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Loughrin?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you just testified that you got to Cedar Crest, I believe you said 2:30 to 2:35 or so?
Correct.
All right, as we look at this exhibit on the screen, are you going from right to left or left to right on Cedar Crest when you first approach Fairfield?
Right to left.
Okay, so you're going sort of from the upper right-hand corner of the diagram down Cedar Crest toward Fairview. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Could you take the laser pointer and just confirm that route from the jury? That's, okay. You see that's Fairview Road? Are you able to read that right?
I'm not, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
Do you still have that map in front of you? Maybe that'll help you, Mr. Loughrin.
And actually, can I orient it so it's oriented just like that for him? And by the way, I should have asked this, but is it in terms of is it you can't read the writing or you can't really see the outline of the streets?
Both.
Okay. Well, that's not going to help much. Okay. If we can have the lights back on. With the court's permission, can I leave that up on the screen while I ask a few more questions?
Sure, except he said can't see it.
Right. No, I know, but the jury can, so I think it would be helpful for them. All right. So you're coming down Cedar Crest, and would Fairview be on your left or your right when you first approach it?
When I first approach, it's on my left.
All right. Now, do you take that left at that time?
No, I do not.
Why not?
At the time, I'm pushing snow, and we don't want to block any part of the road with snow, and taking a left would have left a row of snow. So I proceed to the end of Cedar Crest, do a cul-de-sac, and then head back up Cedar Crest.
All right. So there's a cul-de-sac at the end of Cedar Crest.
Correct.
Dead end.
Yes.
And you plow that?
Yes.
All right. So then when you come back up, is Fairview on your right or your left?
It is on my right.
What do you do?
I take that right and continue to plow.
Now, are you familiar with the Albert residence on Fairview Road?
Yes.
How did you become familiar with that?
Growing up in Canton, I knew where they lived.
Can I have exhibit 66 displayed with the court's permission?
Yes.
From where you're seated now, Mr. Loughrin, are you able to see what's on the screen?
Yes.
And do you recognize that?
Yes.
What do you recognize that to be?
That is the Albert house, Brian Albert's.
And when you were passing the Albert home, on Fairview, the very first time you passed it, would it have been on your right or your left?
It would have been on my right.
What section of the road were you plowing at that point?
The middle of the road.
Why is that?
I start in the middle and I angle right with the plow.
Now, I want to direct your attention to when you were, your truck was essentially perpendicular to the driveway. You see the driveway in Exhibit 66?
Yes, I do.
When you were perpendicular to the driveway, where were your headlights pointed?
In front of me, in front of the truck,
I'm sorry?
in front of the truck.
And what were you able to see of the front lawn of the Albert residence that very first time you passed?
I was able to see the entire front lawn.
And about what time was it that you first passed 34 Fairview Road?
About 2:45.
Now, as you continued along past the driveway, did you continue to have all of those headlights on in front of you?
Yes.
And as you continued along, what were you able to see of that front lawn eventually?
A very large portion, almost to the front steps.
And now, when you're plowing, where is your attention focused, sir?
My attention's focused in front of me and then to the sides.
Why would your attention be focused to the sides?
I am trying to be aware of any side traffic, any pedestrians, and God forbid, any animals.
And when you were passing the Albert residence, as you pass every home, what attention do you pay to the size of the road and the lawns that are adjacent to the road?
I'm, again, making sure that there are no animals, no pedestrians, and making sure no one's coming out of their driveways, not expecting to see me.
And with regard to Exhibit 66, do you see the flagpole there?
Yes.
Is that something you had seen previously?
Yes.
And when you made that first pass by that residence at 2:45 in the morning, sir, with your headlights on, what, if anything, did you see on the front lawn in the area of the flagpole?
I saw nothing.
If there had been a 6'2", 200-pound man lying in the snow there, would you have seen it?
Objection.
Sustained.
Now, once you pass the residence, where do you go?
I go to the end of Fairview.
And what street does that intersect with?
That intersects with Chapman Street.
If we have the previous exhibit, put back up with the court's permission.
Sure.
Okay. Do you still have the exhibit oriented the same way, sir?
Yes, I do.
Where's Chapman Street on the exhibit? Down the bottom, the top, or which?
Down the bottom.
Okay. And when you come to the end of Fairview with Cedar Crest in your rear now, right?
Correct.
Do you take a left or a right on Chapman?
I take a left
All right.
onto
And
Chapman.
once you take that left, what do you do?
I back up and then take a left to go back down Fairview.
Okay. So you're essentially doing almost a 3-point turn in the road?
Correct.
All right. So now, do you go back down Fairview at that time?
Yes, I do.
I'm glad you're home
How
safe,
far do you go
Stephen.
down Fairview?
To the end, to Cedar Crest.
Now, at this point in time, you would also pass the Albert residence, correct?
Correct.
Would it be on your right or your left?
On my left.
Were you looking to the right and the left as you were coming down?
Yes.
How much light did your headlights illuminate of the
That's
Albert
nice when they
front
have the
lawn as
same
you were coming
ownership.
down
They
from
don't have the same like
Chapman Street?
money grubbing.
Coming down
roads.
Chapman, just about the entire front lawn.
And again, with regard to that area around the flagpole, did you see anything on the lawn?
Nothing.
See a body?
No.
All right. Now, after you've done these two passes, sir, where do you go?
I then take a right on the Cedar Crest. I proceed up Spring Lane, come down Spring Lane, and then do the remaining of my route.
How long did it take you before you wound up back at Cedar Crest and Fairview?
About 45 minutes.
So I think you had previously testified, you made the first pass
That's
around
amazing,
2:45?
Stephen.
Correct.
So would that put us at about 3:30?
See, that's what I'm
when you're
talking
about to make
about.
the second pass?
Objection.
Sustained, ask it, Tiffany.
Sure, I'm sorry. What time was it? Your best
They
estimate?
actually
in terms
care
of when
about
you
their
would
employees and they
approach
actually
Fairview
care
and
about
Cedar
their
Crest
customers
again?
too.
3:15 to 3:30.
All right. Now, when you approach that intersection, again, are you approaching it such that Fairview will be on your left or your right this time?
On my left.
Oh,
Same as last time.
Correct.
What do you do
I
when
heard
you
they're a
approach
CEO
Cedar
with a
Crest?
third
I'm sorry,
generation
when you
owner.
approach
Wow.
Fairview
Was
and it's
he-
on your left.
At that
Did he-
point, I have an option. I can go to the end of Cedar Crest, or I can turn around at a street, depending on how much snow I have on Fairview.
And with regard to the decision you made regarding that choice, what decision did you make on January 29th at 3:30?
Went all the way to the end.
Went all the way to the end of Cedar Crest.
Correct.
Same thing you did the first time.
Correct.
And then you come back up.
Correct.
Is Fairview on your right or your left at that time?
It would be on my right.
And did you take that right?
Yes, I did.
What
Wow.
anything unusual did you see at that point?
At that point, I saw a
Oh,
Ford
I
Edge
see.
on the side of the road
Where was it parked on the side of the road?
in front of the Albert's house,
Where in front of the Albert's house?
by the flagpole.
And why was that unusual?
The Alberts never had cars that were parked out front, and it just stuck out as weird.
Now, what were the snow conditions like at that point? This is now, I think you said about 3:15 to 3:30.
It's starting to accumulate a lot quicker than what it was previous.
And what policies does the DPW have regarding cars parked in the street during a blizzard where there's plowing to be done?
We are to
Well, Stephen,
notify
I'm definitely
the
interested.
the supervisor. At that point, he will make a phone call to the police, and depending on if they can have the
That's
resident
awesome.
move it, it gets moved. If not, it
They
gets towed.
supported him that
And
much.
with regard to that policy, did you comply with that policy in those early morning hours?
No, I did not,
Why?
because I was being courteous to the Albert family.
Now, once you saw.
Just think if he had that car towed, what would have happened?
What did you do?
I had to go around the vehicle and as to not hit the vehicle.
All right, and.
That's awesome,
probably obvious,
Stephen.
But as you're approaching the vehicle, was it faced in the same direction that you were traveling?
Yes,
And so you're going around to the left or the right of the vehicle?
left.
And once, as you were approaching that vehicle, were you able to see on the right side of that vehicle, the lawn sign?
Yes.
Did you see anything on the front lawn at that time?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Did you see anything?
No.
Lights were still on.
Correct.
All right, now, once you pass the vehicle, did anything attract your attention at all?
No.
All right, where do you go?
I go up to the end of Fairview and do the same process. Take a left on this Chapman and back down Chapman and take a left into Fairview again.
That's so cool.
Once you come back down Fairview, do you pass the Albert residence again?
Correct.
Was there that car that you saw?
I wish
moved
more
from when
businesses
you passed it the first time?
No.
actually
Were you able to see the
you know,
front lawn of the
took
Albert
lessons
in front
from
of you
the people that run that market then.
as you were coming down Fairview towards Cedar Crest?
Not as much as the first time because the car blocked the view.
All right. Now, after that, how long did it take you before you came back to that area to plow again?
About 3 hours.
Do you recall about what time it was that you wound up back on Fairview?
I don't honestly recall what specific time.
Sure.
Um,
Approximately, if it was 3:15 to 3:30, that second time, what would be your best estimate of the time when you came back?
I would say if I had to say, it would have been 5:30 up Fairview, and came back down, and then at that point I wasn't able to go further than Carriage Lane.
Okay, and when you say that you went up Fairview and came back down, you initially went from which side of Fairview?
Right side.
What would that be, the right side? I'm sorry. Would it be the Cedar Crest side or the,
It would have been Cedar Crest side.
coming from Cedar Crest and then you went up Fairview, came back down?
Came back down. As I'm going up, I am actually seeing first responders. And at that point, as I'm coming back down, the road's blocked at that point.
Okay. And when the road was blocked, what if any
so cool.
plowing were you able to do after that on Fairview?
I was able to go as far as Carriage Lane and then turn around.
Okay. And then I imagine it was several hours before you could plow again?
Before I could plow Fairview to the end of Cedar Crest, yes.
All right. Now, I'd like to direct your attention to February 15th of 2022. We were approached by an investigator who wanted to ask you questions about what you had seen and done on January 29th.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Do you remember his name?
Thank you,
Yes.
Stephen. I wish more
Paul?
business
And
owners
what was
were
your
like that.
understanding about whom Paul worked for?
Objection.
Ask it differently.
On February 15th of 2022, were you ever approached by anybody in law enforcement, sir?
No.
So what was your understanding of Paul's job?
Objection.
I'll see Councilor Taiba.
Oh, here's the sidebars.
Just a couple of questions, Mr. Loughrin.
Sure.
At any point in 2022, were you ever approached by
Me too, Maylin.
police investigators, sir?
No.
When was the first time that you were approached?
Just makes you feel good, when you hear stuff like that.
I don't recall the actual date, but I do know.
Year?
Yes.
What year was that?
2023.
And do you recall the name of the investigator that approached you?
Mike Proctor and Sergeant, and I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to.
If I said Buchanan, would that
Bukaki.
Yes, it is.
I have nothing further. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mr. Lally?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
That's amazing, Stephen. I love hearing that.
Now, may I approach?
Yes.
Sir, I'm showing you a document that's already been marked in Exhibit 109. Just ask you to look at that and look up whenever you're finished, okay?
Yes.
You recognize that, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize that to be?
These are the plow routes for the town of Canton.
And there's different numbers that are associated with different routes and different drivers assigned to those routes. Is that right?
Yes.
And if you look down at number 11, is that your route that you were talking about as far as the sort of portion of Cedar Crest neighborhood that you plow?
Yes.
And that's the route that you were assigned to on January 28th and January 29th of 2020.
If Lally
Yes.
tries to discredit
Now-
him, I am going to scream.
If I could ask, just as far as there's a certain way that you plow a route. Yeah. Excuse me. There's a certain way that you plow a road, correct?
Correct.
And when you're first plowing the road, you're sort of plowing the middle of the road, correct?
Correct.
And you do it in sort of a fashion that's referred to as ring road right. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury what that is and sort of why you're plowing a road in that particular fashion when you're first starting to get out there with the plow?
So ring road to the right refers to the snow coming off the plow. It actually leaves a row of snow. We ring road to the right to prevent cars from having to go through the
Oh,
ring road to the left.
see,
If you go to the left, you've now put the ring row in
That's
the
what
middle
always
of the
gets him.
left-hand
someone
lane.
is always
So
greedy.
everything's to the right.
So everything's to the right, because if there was a vehicle coming the other way, you'd be plowing into that vehicle. Is that correct?
Correct.
And your goal, sort of, when you're first getting out there to plow the roads, is to sort of clear the middle of the roadway first, correct?
Correct.
So that's where your truck is when you first go out and plow the road, is you're sort of in the middle of the road near the double yellow line, if there is one on that road.
Correct.
Okay. Now, this truck that you were driving, on that day, how long have you been assigned to that truck for plowing purposes?
I was assigned to that truck for probably 2 years, maybe longer.
Maybe longer. Were you driving that same truck in 2015?
No.
No? Okay, so you were driving a different truck at that point?
Correct.
Do you remember what kind of truck that was?
It was an F550 utility truck, pickup truck.
Similar in size or shape to the truck that you were driving that day?
No.
Now, you were asked some questions about February 15th, 2022, when you spoke to some investigator on that day, correct?
February 15th?
Yes, 2022. That Paul person you were talking
Yes.
about. Okay. And you met him at a skating rink, is that right?
Correct.
And you said in a statement to him at that time that you would have seen a body on the front lawn or the sidewalk, is that right?
Correct.
Now, are you aware that there is no sidewalk on the same side of the street as 34 Fairview Road?
Correct.
Now, you mentioned some familiarity with the Alberts and with the Albert resident. Are there other people on that route that you're familiar with, as far as where they live and who they are and all that?
Yes.
And how are you equally familiar with them, more familiar with them, or less familiar with them?
Equally.
Equally? Now, familiarity with 34 Fairview Road, does that extend to sort of the lighting around that area?
No.
So do you know that there is actually no street lighting whatsoever in
I
the area,
agree,
fire
Stephen.
hydrant,
I would
flagpole,
too.
or
Like,
anywhere
that's
there
just
for several hundred
amazing.
feet?
Correct.
That's
do
what I
know that.
talk about. You know, when people just have
Yeah, for the,
human decency
I believe so,
and
yes.
empathy and
So when you're driving
and
by,
running
you're
their
looking
business,
for
when they think about
cars coming
the
out of the
people
driveway, cars coming
instead
in
of
the opposite
themselves.
direction, people walking, is that correct?
correct.
And you're trying to look for
My
those
gosh.
objects so that you make sure that you don't
We're fine.
strike them or hit them or anything
No
like
one
that.
ever,
Correct.
ever has to worry about distracting me or anything.
And on
I love
February
this
15th,
stuff.
2022, when you had this meeting with Paul, you told him about 3:30 or 4 a.m. Is when you saw this Ford Edge on Cedar Hills, correct?
Correct.
Now, in fact, when you first spoke to this individual named Paul, you didn't tell him it was a Ford Edge, correct?
No. Told him it was a Ford Edge.
You didn't tell him first that it was a small SUV?
No. Told him it was a Ford Edge.
You remember at any time Paul taking you on the parking lot and showing you different vehicles and asking
Nelly.
you if those vehicles matched what vehicle you
Wow.
saw?
No. He wanted to make sure that what I was telling him was accurate. So he showed me what was a Ford Edge, but I had already told him it was a Ford Edge.
So he brought you out to the parking lot at the skating rink that you were meeting at, specifically showed you a Ford Edge and asked you if that was the vehicle.
Correct.
Now, do you know sort of the difference between, if you were to see a Ford Edge at nighttime in a snowstorm, the difference between a Ford Edge and a Jeep Cherokee?
Yes.
What's the difference?
The taillights in the back.
What about them?
Ford Edges are more round. The whole back facade is a little bit more round. The Jeep Cherokee are more square.
Now, what color was
That's
this SUV
amazing,
that you saw?
Stephen. I'm so
I
happy to
can't tell
hear
you
that.
that. I am colorblind.
I love
Can you
that.
tell, and I'm just curious, sir, as far as your color blindness, can you tell whether or not an object is dark or light just by looking at it, or you
I
can't
can-
tell at all?
I can see things that are light. I can see things that are dark. I can see true colors. I can't see shades of true colors.
And so from what you saw, was this light
Where's
or dark?
Dean? He's
Light.
got some color blindness. He knows about this. That's not going to change the fact that he knows a Ford Edge is a Ford Edge,
Now, you
Lally.
told this Paul individual on February 15th that the SUV that you saw was exactly where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found, correct?
Correct.
How do you know where his body was found?
I told him specifically if he was looking at the door, the front door, it was about 3 feet to the left of the door. And with
To the left of the door?
looking at the front of the door, to the left of the door, pushing it up Fairview.
So if he wrote in his report that you told him that the vehicle was exactly where the body was found, that would not be true?
Objection.
No, I'll allow that.
Could you repeat that question, please?
If he wrote in his report that you told him that the SUV was exactly where the body was found, that would not be true, would it not?
That would be
Nice
true.
names. I need to
The
go.
car was
I wish I could
to the
stop there. I don't want to live
left
in
of the door,
Massachusetts.
putting it
I
in
wish I could
front
shop at that
of
place.
the flagpole.
Market
My
basket,
question for you,
everyone.
sir, is how do you know where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found? At any point in time, did you see Mr. O'Keefe's body on the front lawn?
No.
How do
Nice.
you know where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found?
Through police reports, police interviews, stuff that was posted on the media.
So you've seen police reports in the media?
Well, not the
correct?
police reports, I'm sorry, but what was said during on the news.
So what you've heard on the news, not necessarily what you saw or what you know yourself, correct?
Could you repeat that question, please?
You're
Well,
recounting
you're a
sort of
dick.
what you heard or saw on the news, and so this doesn't come from your personal knowledge or anything about where Mr. O'Keefe was,
Are you
correct?
serious
Correct.
right now?
Now, you also spoke with some other individuals in May of 2023, correct?
Correct.
Now, did you tell those individuals that you actually came in, and when you say came in, you come into sort of the main sort of hub or the shed on Boulevard Street, correct?
Correct. We punch in.
That's where you punch in and you pick up your truck and you sort of do your checkpoint around the truck and then you go out and plow.
Correct.
I used to use Kroger
Now,
for the fuel point.
You were plowing
I
on
don't
this
need to
street.
now.
Was there any other sort of subcontractor or anything else that was working plowing the roads as well?
Yes.
And who was that?
It was by the yard landscaping.
And so they assist as far as the plow route is concerned, and they go around and they plow things on the same route that you were describing, correct?
Correct.
Now, these other people that you talked to in May of 2023, did you tell them at that time that you actually came in around 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m.?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that, or you didn't tell them?
I don't remember that.
That would be a significant difference, 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. from 2:15 a.m. and 2:30 a.m., correct?
Correct.
Now, you also indicated to them at that time that you went past Fairview at approximately 12 a.m. and 2 a.m., correct?
I never did 12, but it was definitely 2:30,
So if they wrote
2:40,
that in a report, that
2:35.
would be inaccurate as well, correct?
Sustained, and only one person can talk at a time.
Michael, I'm sorry, sir. Please continue and finish your answer.
I didn't hear the question.
Okay. Well, let me ask it again. So as
Well,
far as,
Natalie, I'm
if that was
sorry,
contained
but he
within a
makes me want to
report regarding
smack
that
him. This is
conversation
the first time
with
I've actually wanted to
yourself,
smack
that you
Lolly.
went down
Being a douche.
at 12 a.m. and 2 a.m., that would not be accurate, correct?
Sustained, ask it differently.
Did you go down Fairview Road at 12 a.m. and 2 a.m.?
No.
If that were contained in a report of your conversation you had in May of 2023, would that be accurate?
Sustained, ask it differently, Mr. Long.
Oh my God.
Now, as far as that conversation that you had in May of 2023, did you tell those individuals that you saw the vehicle around 1:30 or 2 in the morning?
Thanks, Steven.
Again, I don't remember ever
Thanks for letting me
saying
know what
that.
they're called. Now I can easily look them
Is
up.
that accurate as far
Appreciate
as
it.
whether or not you told them that?
Again, I don't remember saying that.
Did you see the vehicle around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning?
I wasn't on the road at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Correct. Now, do you also recall telling those individuals that Fairview Road was blocked off by cruisers at about 3 or 3:30 in the morning?
Again, that would have been incorrect.
Do you recall saying that in May of 2023?
I do
So
not.
they fabricated
Yeah,
his
Coach Arnold?
statement,
Yes.
and now they're blaming it on him.
So I'm going to ask you to read.
Wow.
Ask you to read, this paragraph.
They fabricated those fucking statements to make it look uncredible and not credible. Right?
Are you finished, sir?
Yes.
Okay. May I approach this retrieval? now?
Yes.
Probably so. Oh my God.
Mr. Loughrin, after having reviewed that, as your memory refreshed as to that conversation you had in May of 2023,
No, it does not.
Do you still, after reading that, don't recall telling anybody in May of 2023 that you came in around 11:30 p.m., 12 a.m. on the 28th, 29th?
I never came in at 11:30, 12:30 at night. It was 2:30 calling.
You don't recall
7
indicating
million a
to
day.
anyone in May of 2023 that you went past Fairview at 12 a.m. and 2 a.m.?
Correct, never did.
And you don't recall telling anyone that you saw the car around 1:30 or 2 a.m.? Is that correct?
Correct,
And you don't recall telling anybody that the part of Fairview containing 34 Fairview was blocked off at 3 or 3:30 a.m., correct?
correct.
Now, if the part of Fairview,
I'm sorry, with all the cops
you
lying
were
already on
talking
the
about,
stand and
you didn't
with
say that
their
in May of
phones
2020,
and the
because at 3 or 3:30,
constant lies about butt
the
dials
roadway
and
wasn't
that,
blocked off, correct?
Correct,
It was blocked
all
off
that
sometime
would
around
make me
6
think
a.m.,
of the
correct?
jury
Correct.
that they lied
And
about
so
his
if you had
statement.
said that the roadway was blocked off at 3 or 3:30 in the morning, and it was actually 6, then when you saw the vehicle would have been off a little bit as well, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Oh my God, Lally, come on.
Seeing the
You
car
know
at
you-
1:32 in the morning,
Oh.
with the road being blocked off at 3 or 3:30 in the morning, if the road's blocked off at 6 a.m., then that actually would have been, you saw a car sometime around 5 a.m., correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Sure you didn't see a black
All
Lexus SUV in front of
speculation,
the house
Lally.
at 34 Fairview Road around 5 a.m.?
no,
Now, you also were asked some questions and you spoke to some troopers in August of 2023, correct?
correct,
And County Canton, they have a parking ban in Canton, is that correct?
correct,
That goes from November until April?
correct.
I hope Kazi G's
Now,
okay.
part of your plow route is a road called Tippy Cart, correct?
Correct.
Where is Tippy Cart in relation to Fairview?
It is on top of it's on the
I feel
right
you there,
side
Stephen.
of Cedar Crest. It would put it 2 streets before
Yeah.
Fairview.
To be honest, Lally's just
And at some point,
dumb,
when you were
in my
plowing on
opinion,
Tippy
until
Cart that
now.
night, you
Now
actually
he's
hit a
being a
basketball hoop,
douche.
is that right?
Yes,
And did you call that in?
yes.
And as a result of that, what happened with the basketball hoop after that?
Nothing. The point was to make sure I was covered, basically. It's why I notified my supervisor that I hit the basketball hoop.
And about what time was that you hit the basketball hoop?
I don't recall.
Is it closer to when you started, closer to when you ended?
I don't recall. I don't recall what time.
So you don't recall anything specific about that time, correct?
No, just that I know I hit the basketball net.
And obviously, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth or anything, sir, but you didn't intentionally hit the basketball hoop, correct?
Correct.
So you hit it because you didn't see it, correct?
No, I was attempting to avoid the net by going around it.
He saw
And
it. You do.
the
You're trying to say he
machine
didn't
had
see
a
the ball,
different
he didn't see the net.
size
No,
body
he saw it.
than
and
what
you
it
probably just
originally had.
misjudged it. You
And I
stupid jerk. Oh my
underestimated
God. Well,
when
this
I
is
was
the
going
first time
around that I
Lally
need to be
pissed
wider.
me off.
So you misjudged the distance. Is that fair to say?
Yes,
May we approach, Ron?
Okay.
Sir, at some point prior to coming in here and testifying today, have you met with Mr. United?
yes,
How many times?
twice.
And when were those times?
Tuesday and Saturday.
Tuesday and Saturday. When, sir?
Tuesday of last week, Saturday of last week.
And this Paul person that you spoke of before, was that person present there as well?
Yes,
And did you make note of Paul writing anything down or Mr. United writing anything down while you were talking to them?
no,
And as far as you're aware, there's no reports that were generated from any of those conversations or any of those
Yeah.
meetings, is that correct?
correct.
So, sir, I'm correct if I say
The
that
definite
you're
difference
served on
between
every
Brennan and Lally is just a moron. I'm sorry. He's just a moron, that's, I think in a way was forced to take on this case and whatever. it's just dumb. Until this witness, this is the first time he's truly like pissed me off by his questioning. Now, Brennan Spanky pissed me off on a daily basis. He was such a douche. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was being a dick on purpose. He just, he's an ass. Yeah, Brennan comes off as a complete weasel. 100%.
Time that you went down Fairview Road and everything that you saw going down Fairview Road, but you're completely unaware of the time that you ran in to instruct a basketball hoop that night. Is that correct? Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
You sure about all the times that you went down Fairview Road?
Yes.
And you have no idea what time that you went on tippy cart and you struck the basketball hoop. Is that right?
Oh my God! Ask the
If you ask me to guess, I can guess for you.
I'm not asking you to guess, sir. I'm asking
I don't recall exactly what time I hit that net.
Nothing for you.
Right. Anything, Ms. Giannetti?
There's just one question I wanted to make sure that we understand what's going on.
So no statements, right? Just ask a question.
I always do that. I apologize, Your
Okay.
Honor. You were asked a question by Mr. Lally. Are you sure you didn't see a black Lexus at around 5 a.m. in front of Fairview? And your answer was no. And my question to you is, does that mean that you're not sure if you saw one or that you didn't see?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
He's allowed
I
to
did
clarify.
not see a Lexus at 5 a.m.
At any point that night while you were plowing,
No,
you see a black Lexus in front of 34 Fairview?
no.
Thank you, sir.
Very briefly, based on your timeline, were you on Fairview Road at 5 a.m.?
Yes.
How so, sir?
It was about 3 hours after the last time I went on it.
Hey, Scarlett, I'm sorry.
You're
was
fine.
last
Let
on
me
it at
pause
about
Lucky
quarter of
Loughrin. He's
4.
almost on anything. You're fine. I was hoping you were okay.
No, I'm okay. I was just I was on the phone with somebody we all know, talking about a couple different things.
Gotcha.
But maybe we'll get to that later. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Since we're almost done with Lucky, let's finish Lucky up here, and then we can get on back to Kelsey and whatever else you want to talk about.
yeah, absolutely. All right.
Sounds good. Hey,
Okay.
KDB, thanks for joining us.
About 5:30.
You were on the road about 2:45, and you said it took you about 45 minutes to sort of do the loop and come back, correct?
Correct.
And from the time that you were on there, including the time that it took you to plow and the time that it took you to do all of those things along the route, you're coming back to Fairview Road at 45 minutes later, or it took you 45 minutes to do the route?
It was about 45 minutes.
And so from there, 45 minutes, from what time are we talking that you were first there? Is that about 2:45 or so?
About 3:30. With some.
3:30. Okay.
Why,
About
yeah,
3
why
hours
does
after
Lally
that
keep
would
trying
then be
to
about
screw him up with the time?
It
God
was
almighty.
about. I mean, I know I went up there and saw the first responders coming down. And when
What I'm asking is, you would testify that you may or you were on Fairview Road around 5 a.m. If you're not returning for 3 hours later, and that's about 6:30 from 3:30, correct?
Correct.
So then you were not on Fairview Road at 5 a.m., correct?
I was. The
Oh yeah, I
time
read
that it
all
took me
about
to do what I
Kelsey
needed
earlier,
to
but we're
do
going to get back
put me
into it.
there about 5. So when I'm coming down
Thanks,
Cedar Crest
Tom.
from
Thanks for
doing my
stepping in.
route, I am constantly looking at Fairview to make sure that it's considered a main road. So we need to take that as a priority. So if it's a lot of snow on that road, I'm going to go turn around and do the road so that the road is available. So first responders have access to that road.
So what I'm saying is, you testified, your timeline, that you
Yep.
came down there around 6:30 in the morning, correct?
My timeline was 5:30.
That 3 hours
5:30?
after 3:30.
It was 45 minutes.
No, 45 minutes was from 2:45 to get you to 3:30. Then 3 hours later is
It was
6:30, correct?
It was about
Oh my
45
God,
minutes because I
Lally,
didn't get a
you're
lot of time.
deliberately
At that
doing
time,
this,
the snow was
douchebag.
coming down at a significant rate, and I needed to make sure Fairview was kept clear. So I come down and I check. So I have the streets are all around Fairview. They're 5-10 minutes around Fairview. So the furthest street from Fairview is Kings Road.
So my question is, so you're talking about coming down Fairview, or are you talking about being on another road and looking at Fairview?
Coming down Cedar Crest, looking at Fairview.
Despite that timeline that you gave her.
I am always looking at that street.
Nothing.
I mean,
All right, Mr. Loughrin, you are all set, sir.
yeah,
Thank you.
I'll sit. Sorry, can't stand her.
Okay.
Dr. Russell is going to be next, but we're going to get to Dr. Russell tomorrow, because we're going to talk a little bit more with Cassie G about Kelsey Fitzsimmons today, and then I am going on at 10:30 tonight.
All right, whenever you're ready,
Go to the
Mr.
chair with
Jackson.
me.
Thank you, Elder. Dr.
Um,
Russell, could you please, in a loud, clear voice,
Stop! Sorry.
state your name?
All right. I am going on with Mary B tonight at 10:30. I think we're finally going to have our psych night, which I'm excited about. But let's get back into a little bit about Kelsey. Or God forbid any animals. Yeah. I mean, he obviously, as a plow driver, would have been looking for cars, people, animals. So he wouldn't hit anybody or anything with that plow. And him and Lally bringing up that him hitting that basketball hoop the way he did, like he trying to act like he didn't see it. Like, dude, he's driving a big, gigantic truck. And he's trying to plow as much of the street as he possibly can to make it safe. God forbid he banged that thing by accident. Like, it's not a big deal, as Lally was trying to make it out to be. Kazi, best line, yeah. It's Zach's birthday. Dude, if you trick me again, I swear. Zach, is it really your birthday? Zip it, Chubbs. It must be your birthday. Otherwise, you'd be telling everyone it's your birthday, right? Well, happy birthday, Zach. I can't play the lovely little cartoon chef that I found that I really enjoy, making the mess of his kitchen while he bangs on his pots and pans to birthday music. But we all celebrate your birthday here, Zach. I hope you have a wonderful day. No. Trust me when I tell you, you do not want me to sing to Zach because I am tone deaf, okay? I would sound so bad. You guys would all leave so fast. Trust me, you don't want me to sing. Cosby. All right, you guys behave. Cheryl, you didn't go today. Go where? Sorry, I missed that. Oh, you didn't go to the groceries? Wait, what? Didn't go where? You have to work tomorrow. What? Sorry, I'm lost. Oh, Lally pissed me off so much. I'm lost. Don't come at my old ass. I'm in no mood. Oh, the gym. I don't blame you there. I can't do the gym. Katie. Yeah, I'm not going to sing that either. Oh, anyways. Well, before we move on to Kelsey Fitzsimmons, let me at least ask you, Kazi, I know you probably didn't watch that testimony since you were on the phone. But what you do remember of Lucky's testimony from the first trial, or of Lally questioning him, what are your thoughts on his testimony?
Yeah, I thought he was one of the best witnesses of the whole trial.
Yeah.
Lally tried to, trip him up with times and stuff like that. But, Lucky came out a winner.
Yeah, he did.
He came out a winner. He's 100% credible. I mean, look at that guy. He's the salt of the earth.
Yep.
You're going to try to dirty that guy up? He came out looking tremendous. And, there's been some talk that they've been trying to dirty Lucky up behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leave my man alone, man. He just wants to plow the streets and tell the truth. And you're all scumbags for thinking anything else. All those people that try to do him dirty out in Canton.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't hear then what I was saying during his testimony is that this is the first time, to be honest, that I like but the difference between, Lally and Brennan. Lally is just, to me, he's just a moron. And he didn't really piss me off like the way Brennan pissed me off, deliberately being a dick in the second trial. Like, Lally's just a moron to me until this questioning. Trying to trick him up on the times and confuse the jury and try to make him look not credible was just distasteful and disgusting.
Yeah, I think the thing with Lally is we have a comparison between him and Brennan. And between the two, Lally looks like a choir boy.
Yeah.
Compared to scumbag Brennan, right?
Yep.
But let's never forget what Lally was trying to do and the shit that he pulled as well, so.
Exactly. I mean, he just wasn't, I think with Lally is he just wasn't as brazen or as blatant about doing some shady shit as Brennan was.
Yeah, Brennan was an outright scumbag, kind of didn't hide it.
Yeah.
Lally's a sneakier scumbag and potentially did more damage if you think about it.
Yeah, because I mean, you have to admit that if you're sitting on a jury and you see someone like Lally, who you don't realize is being a jerk, a douche, or whatever you want to call him, but then you're on the jury and you see someone like Brennan, who you automatically despise just because he's such an outward jerk, douche, whatever you want to call him. Like, that's how Lally did more damage, because the jury didn't hate him as much as I'm sure the jury hated Brennan.
Yeah, but I appreciate that Brennan wasn't able to hide his shitty motives. You know what I mean? Because it was so easy for everybody to see.
Right.
Lally, on the other hand, was very low key and sneaky about it, and elicited a lot of bad evidence in, like the inverted video. Let's just start there.
Yeah, definitely.
He absolutely 100% knew what he was doing, and he was trying to pull one over on the jury, and to some level he was able to do that. So it's like the devil is worse than the one you don't, or whatever that saying is. You know what I mean? Like, who's worse, the one that's out in the open about it, or the sneaky one?
Right.
Brennan was just like, hey, look at me, I'm a shitbag.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Where Lally was like, oh, I'm just trying to go to work, but I'm also a shitbag. So.
Definitely. Hey, Broken Baker, thanks for stopping in. Oh, Zach
hey.
is here. Well, this channel is lost. Uh-oh.
Yeah, hey Baker, haven't seen you in a bit. How's it going?
I watched the Kelsey, that's a perfect segue because I watched the Kelsey Fitzsimmons trial with Baker today. I didn't chat much because I was doing quite a bit of other things, but I listened to the entire thing. And I probably spent way more time than I planned in the beginning of my stream while I was waiting for you, ranting about it. Now, since I've given my opinion, I know a lot of people came in after that, but let's start with you and let me hear what you have to say. What you're like, I don't know, like just your opinions overall on the trial today.
Who me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I don't know. It was if you kind of go through the witnesses, I think they didn't. Bradel didn't make a lot of ground with the officer Daly, who was not the shooter. And I did think Bradel did good with Justin Elaine. Justin Elaine came across as robotic
Yes.
and kind of really coached up. And he's like, I was at the house and there was a shooting, and you know what I mean? He just came off kind of robotic. And then at the very end of it, Bradel was like, hey, you're suspended for drug use, are you not? And he had to admit that, yeah, he is.
Yeah. Which I think will be great for family court, but it's not going to do much in this trial. I mean, it has no bearing on the case.
Right. Except that what he's trying to do is discredit his credibility,
Right.
And that's
But
all you're trying to do with witnesses is like question their credibility, which I think he did.
Right. But the problem is that Justin's testimony has no bearing, whether he's credible or not. It has literally no bearing on whether the cop who shot another cop did it in self-defense or some other reason.
Well, agreed, but they brought him in there to try to dirty her up.
Well, of course.
And I don't think he was able to do that. I really don't. I think Bradel did a good job of disarming him, so to speak. Because he just you watch a witness testify and you can kind of be like, oh, that's a little damaging. You know what I mean? And I didn't think Justin Elaine brought anything to the table as far as dirtying her up. No. And then moving on to Noonan, the cop that actually, this trial is going to be short, right?
Oh yeah, it's a couple days.
We're already blasted through, a few of the key witnesses, right? So
yeah.
So did they end? I didn't see the very end. Did they end with Noonan?
They ended with the direct of Noonan. So tomorrow we'll start with the cross.
Okay, good. That's where it's going to get very interesting. Noonan came across as like not a bad guy.
I have a lot to say about him though. So you didn't hear my rant. Yes, I will tell you my opinion after you tell me yours.
Now, when I say he didn't come across as a bad guy, I don't think that anything pointed him in the direction of whether or not she was pointing the gun at him. It was just kind of boilerplate testimony, stuff like that. He didn't look to be a scumbag, but he could also just be a guy who freaked out in the moment. And by the way, I had never heard about him freaking out about the AC turning on before. Had you guys heard that?
No, that was new.
That's new.
That was new to me too. Now that also goes like, I'm going to put mine in a smaller /rant as I did earlier. Cause I literally, I went on about it for about an hour, waiting for you, but it's not rehashing everything I said. My main things were, number one, regarding Justin, is that his testimony, like I said, really isn't important. His testimony really had no bearing on whether or why Noonan shot him. And that's really all that matters. Number two, was and Noonan my biggest rant with him was the fact that I didn't find him credible, and I'm going to tell you why. He's a veteran cop, basically. He's been on SWAT. He's been trained supposedly over and over in the military, SWAT, now on the police force, and so forth. He starts his testimony with, I don't know, Kelsey. She was on maternity leave for most of the time I worked there, not acknowledging the fact that they are basically brother and sister, as most cops. The minute you become a cop, you normally take in every other cop as a brother and sister. You have some sort of bond, whether you know them or not, as a fellow cop. And then these two shared a specific call of someone unaliving themselves, and shared a bond that way as well, and experiencing something as emotional and heartbreaking as seeing someone else take their own life, and shared a common bond and dealing with that trauma that they did that together. And Kelsey even came out after being shot by this guy and said, we went through this experience together. I appreciated him being there for me. I don't know the exact statement right offhand, but basically giving him credit for helping her almost through a situation like that, as with her being kind of a rookie, him being a veteran. And saying that, my problem with his testimony and why I found him not credible is, if he was telling the truth, let's just say that hypothetically, I said this earlier, hypothetically, if everything he said was true, that Kelsey literally pulled that firearm and aimed it at his face, and he had to shoot her. Number one, he missed. The first time he missed, and he's supposedly a trained, he's 50 years old, trained SWAT, military, whatever. Number two, you shot her and she almost died. And as a fellow cop, someone that you have a bond with, whether it's a friendship, co-worker, I don't know if they were friends, but even if you're just co-workers, even if they barely knew each other, they went through that trauma together, and you just shot a fellow cop, and he showed no emotion on that stand. If his story was true, in my opinion, he would have showed some sort of emotion, like, I can't believe I had to do this. It was her or me. It was, I regret it. I mean, even if he couldn't say that, you'd see something in him that he didn't want to do that, but he had to. And I saw nothing. And when you are telling the truth, you have your raw emotion about that truth. Now, when you're telling a lie, it is very easy to have no emotion. It is hard to fake emotion when you're telling a lie. Do you get what I'm saying? Kazi, are you there? Sorry, I went longer than you probably planned. Kazi, you're muted. Oh, just stepped away for a moment. Okay, got you. Sorry. Thank you, guys. I appreciate. I'm so far behind in comments because I went on my rant again. I apologize. But that was my biggest takeaway from today, was Noonan, his testimony, and why I truly felt that he wasn't credible, because the no emotion really got to me. And the denying and I saw that. Thank you so much for saying that, Nicola. You were here from the beginning. You heard the entire rant I had. But for me, that was the biggest problem I had with the testimony. I do want to hear. Katie says, I want to know how Justin heard Noonan tell Kelsey 2 floors up, don't do it, Kelsey, when he was in the basement digging for a suitcase. Yeah. I find that hard to believe too. I heard that as well. I actually had heard that prior, that he supposedly said that he heard that. I don't know where I saw that, but I said the same thing. Like, They're upstairs and you're in the basement. So 2 floors. And you also, that's another thing. The second cop, I keep calling him Daly. Is that his name? I don't know why I think that's wrong. Daly, right? He ran up the stairs after hearing gunshots, but didn't pull out his weapon. That's another thing that truly bothered me. If you are in another room where you know 2 cops are in a different room, and you hear, or 2 people, period, are in a different room, and you hear gunshots, and you're a cop, isn't the first thing you're going to do is reach for your gun? That was crazy to me. He definitely didn't. He was prepped really good, had the whole script down. I feel the same way, Shelley. The trial got shortened today when the judge wouldn't allow the aliens and the Commonwealth to bring in the Jack and Jill party nonsense. Yeah, that was another part that I ranted about, was the sister, another person who didn't even need to be on the stand. Her testimony didn't bring anything in that was important to why Noonan shot her, which is all that matters. She was pissed. I mean, you could figuratively see the steam coming out of her ears when she got off that stand, how pissed she was that she couldn't say all that she wanted. Noonan, a firearm expert that missed twice, was supposedly when supposedly a pew-pew was aimed at his head. He is trained to aim center mass to kill. Something's off. Yeah, Katie, exactly. Mary B, hey girl. Sorry, I'm way behind on comments. That's what happens when I get on a rant. I'm thinking Noonan's story was slightly altered in his memory because it could have hurt his career, and he's probably close to retirement. I don't know, but something is definitely not adding up. And yeah, I said that earlier, is that he changed his story. I mean, the Commonwealth, the entire Commonwealth story changed at least 4 times. And it changed again today. The very first day of trial, the story changed again. There's like the first comment I made in Baker's chat was, seriously, how many times has the story changed? It's changing again. Like, seriously, is this a joke? Daly, Houston, and Noonan. Thank you. It is Daly. Okay. I don't know why I thought I was wrong all of a sudden. Thank you for confirming that, though. I appreciate you, Katie. How did his sister see smoke from the pew-pew from outside? She said, naturally, she said it was the smoke from the air conditioner. But I also find that hard to believe because it was a window air conditioner, right? And I had one of those growing up. We had actually a window air conditioner until I was in my late teens. And if he shot, I mean, I could be wrong. And I don't know exactly where he hit it, but I'm thinking if it went through the front where the vents are, I don't know how it would have caused smoke so much that a woman running or with a baby, she wasn't running, I guess, at that point, obviously, until she heard it and then supposedly saw the smoke coming from the air conditioner, which the judge didn't allow in technically. Well, he did allow her to say that she saw smoke, but she didn't allow to say it came from the air conditioner. He struck that part of the answer. But I'm trying to imagine that him shooting that air conditioner, it going through the vents, how the heck it would cause smoke, so much smoke that a woman carrying a baby out to the car would see it, all this. Like, I think she was just adding shit to cause, like, for whatever reason. She wanted to say whatever she wanted on that stand and was pissed when she wasn't allowed. I don't know. Katie says, also, Name a time you hear a cop yell, "Don't do it," when a gun is aimed at their head versus "drop the gun." Sounds like more "don't do it" because she had the gun in her head. Yeah, that I've said that too. So I said this, I don't know if I said it today, but I definitely said it the other day. When exactly what you said, Katie, is no cop is going to take the time to say, "No, don't do it," if one is aimed at your face. If you're a cop and you have another person, cop or not, that has one aimed at your face, and they are close. You guys saw how small that room is. And that's another thing I went off on earlier. He could have tackled her so quickly that the shooting, it never even had to happen. But at this point, that's neither here nor there. But they are so close, and she supposedly aims it right at his face. And he takes the time to say, "No, and he says her name. "No, Kelsey, don't do it." I'm sorry. Any other cop who has one aimed at their face is going to just shoot. They're not going to take the time to scream, say the person's name, say "don't do it." No. You napped all day? Aw, that's good. I slept in really late today. For me, I got a lot of sleep again today, which is good because I'll be wide awake for tonight, which I'm excited about, Mary B. I'm so excited to get our psych night in finally. I'm so sorry. I canceled on you, and then you canceled on, well, my power went out, and then, we had to deal with both of it. You had an issue on Thursday or whatever day, Friday, and then I had one last night. I needed sleep. I was like, I couldn't even stay awake watching Turtle Boy, and I'm like, let's just do it tomorrow, and hopefully it'll work out nicely. Steven, oh my God, I was so baffled by that today. I was like, huh? How much smoke could there have been? See, yeah, she was running with the baby. That's exactly what I said, Katie. And Kazi's, hold on, I just lost Kazi's comment. There we go. The fact that they can't bring out the Jack and Jill testimony takes out all of the alcohol allegations. Yep, very bad for the prosecution. Yeah, I talked about that as well with the scram. It goes to show you that, this whole scram thing is ridiculous. Everybody knows that it was ridiculous. This had no bearing on alcohol use. It's not like she had alcohol in her system that day. And it's ridiculous. And for what she suffered, having to go back to jail, just for asking the judge for a different way to do her alcohol test, she didn't even violate being out on bail. Just simply asked the court to do something different. And that bitch of a judge thought it was okay to just throw her back in jail. It's disgusting. Nicola says, from what I saw today, I was hopeful for Kelsey. Yeah. It's really going to come down. And this is what someone asked me, and maybe I can get your opinion too, Kazi. A couple of people actually asked me my opinion on the bench trial versus a jury trial. And at first, when I first heard them say we're going for a bench trial, I was like, oh, no, don't do that. But the more and more I thought about it, you have to realize, and again, this goes back to what I was saying about Justin's testimony and his sister's testimony. None of that matters. When you're talking about proving this case, the Commonwealth has to prove that Kelsey pointed that firearm at his face, and they have to prove that Noonan was in fear of his life, and that's why he had to shoot. That's it. That's what they have to prove. And bringing in emotion to that is how you get a jury one way or the other. And I think taking the bench trial takes emotion out of it. It takes to the facts. Can you prove that Kelsey did this and Noonan felt this. That's it. That's what it boils right down to when you go bench trial. At least it should, because the judge shouldn't take in his personal feelings or how he feels about the situation. When jurors, as we know, are notorious for bringing in their feelings into things like this. What are your thoughts on that, Kazi?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, what were you talking about?
About
Which one?
the bench trial versus a jury trial.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think Bradel thought there was a calculated move, a strategy move, that he felt like the facts must be on their side as far as the law. And I don't think he would ever waive a jury unless he had a better idea that a bench trial was going to be better.
Right.
Let's not forget the second chair is the ex-attorney general of Massachusetts, Martha Coakley. I think they have a very good idea, or, a pretty good idea that the judge is going to be on their side on this due to the law, or they wouldn't do it. So,
right. And another thing,
Um,
when I was watching Nurse Kim and Betterow yesterday that he pointed out, I was late to her show, so I didn't get to see all of what he said. But one of the things he pointed out that I didn't think about either, that only made my change in decision, like I felt even more confident that a bench trial was probably the way to go, was in a bench trial, there's no hung jury. You're not going to get a split. This is going to be over one way or the other
Right.
in a couple
Mhm.
days, which is another bonus.
Yeah,
Katie
yeah.
says, go ahead, Kazi.
Well, there's no like unneeded breaks. They won't have to
Yes.
usher the jury out of the courtroom in order to talk about things. There's no theatrical type of element with attorneys because they're talking just to a judge on the laws. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So I think there's a lot of I think they weighed the pros and cons of a jury and a bench or a judge, and they think that they can win with a judge. I'm sure that they weighed all these risks,
Right.
and I think they probably made the right choice. I mean, hopefully it works out.
Agreed. But I definitely, what I was saying specifically about it was that it takes out the emotions and, because juries are notorious for bringing their emotions into it and feeling one way or another about things. And that's why, like, things that are struck from the record are still stuck in a jury's mind. And I think as far as a judge goes in a bench trial, that's not going to weigh on his mind at all. Like it might on a jury, even if it's struck, if it's something they remember and it sticks out, it may bias them in a way they don't even realize. And I don't think that's going to occur with a judge. And I think that's another reason why Justin, or necessarily Justin, I really didn't get any emotion off that man. He just didn't seem to care about he didn't even seem to care about his baby. But his sister, that's another reason why I think they were just all pissed. And she wanted to say all this and get it in front of the judge. And I think had they gone jury and this stuff, she probably almost practiced saying that stuff to try and get it in. Almost, you know what I mean? Like, because if she had said that stuff in front of a jury, even if it was stricken from the record, you have to admit that's going to hit a jury. Like, what did I just hear? What? She said she was going to do what? You know what I'm saying? Like that's where juries might, they're going to be curious, even though they're not supposed to really think about it or deliberate on what's stricken. You have to admit that it's going to stick in their mind, something like that.
Brando's loving this right now.
Yeah, he's so cute. He brings me joy every time you bring him on screen.
Yeah.
I do want to address, as Katie says, also, if you had yelled, drop it, like they are trained to do when they are being threatened, it would have alerted the other cop running up the stairs to draw his pew-pew. Like, oh my God, something's off. And yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Officer Daly admitted on the stand today that he supposedly ran upstairs after hearing 2 shots and didn't pull out his weapon. Like, really? Are you kidding me? What cop isn't going to hear 2 gunshots from one room away or one staircase away and not pull out their weapon?
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane to me. Steven says, I can believe it's possible a cop would say don't do it as the person that he knows is raising a pew-pew. But what I don't believe is she was able to tap and rack it twice. Yeah, that was another thing. Him demonstrating the tapping and racking got me too. Like him demonstrating that to the judge. I hope that the judge tries to actually visualize and take in how long of a time that takes to rack and put a bullet in the chamber, and not to mention do it twice. And yet he still couldn't like stop her without shooting twice and missing her once as a supposed marksman. Seriously, he's less than 10 feet and he missed. Like, to me, it's almost like that was a warning shot. Like, don't hurt yourself. Please don't hurt yourself or something. I don't know why he missed. But if he was in fear for his life, that's a hypothetical because I don't think he was in fear of his life. But hypothetically speaking, if he was in fear for his life, he saw a weapon. You have to admit then, if you miss your first one, that you are not calm, cool, and collected like they tried to play it both ways today with, oh, he's calm, cool, collected. He knows his training. He knows when and when not to shoot, this and that. But yet they wanted to admit in an excited utterance. That's hypocritical. And I'm glad that wasn't allowed. I mean, I know that the judge says we'll play it by ear, but they never brought it up again, as far as I remember, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, you can't have it both ways. So my opinion is that I think my opinion is truly that he misjudged the entire situation. He was nervous as all hell. He missed because he wasn't aiming properly. And then I don't know if he got lucky or because I don't know the timing between the 2 shots. I don't know if they were in quick succession because they didn't talk
They were. Yeah.
They were like one after another, like boom, boom.
Well, that's what, at least that's what Daly said on the stand.
Okay, then I didn't hear that statement. I did miss a couple small portions this morning. So that's one thing I missed. So thank you. So even so, if they were in pretty quick succession, you have to think, if you missed by one and the second one really quickly after you got our center mass, like to me, that only goes almost show you like he's not handling his firearm properly. He's either nervous or freaking out or whatever. And to me, he should have just been a man and said, I misjudged the situation. I freaked out and I thought she was aiming it at me. And to me, like, I seriously think he's come up with the story because he gave his story thinking she was going to pass away. And when she survived, they all had to change their stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's going to be short. We'll find out, right?
Yeah. Maybe I'm excited for it too. Yay, tonight will be fun. Katie says, Stephen, the one law enforcement officer said he recovered the gun. There wasn't a bullet in the chamber, but wouldn't there have been if she racked twice but fired once? Yes, but the first time she tried to pull, didn't it? It stuck or didn't go off, right?
Yeah,
So,
apparently there was a click. One of the rounds wasn't in the chamber, although there was a full magazine. And I don't really know how that works with the type of gun she has. Like, you would think the second clip or the second click would have brought a bullet up into the magazine, and that second shot would have worked.
right. See, I don't know. I'm going to be totally honest. I have only fired one once in my life, and it was a tiny rifle when I was younger in my teenage years. And my dad took me camping, and I never wanted to touch another pew pew ever again. And I haven't. So I don't know much about them. But you would think that if you tap and rack, and a bullet isn't in the chamber, and you click and it clicks, and she has time to tap and rack again. That's what I'm talking about, is that he could have easily knocked her down before she got a bullet in that chamber, which is when I was talking earlier. Like, he could have tackled her so quickly that none of this even needed to happen. But that being said, I think, Katie, if there wasn't one in the chamber, then you wonder if there was something wrong with the gun, or because if the magazine was full and she tapped and racked it twice and there still wasn't a bullet in the chamber, like I don't know what would cause that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you click once, okay, there's nothing in the chamber. You click again, that one should work. You know, but in my understanding of how a firearm like that would work, I'm not 100%. Like, somebody like Runkle would be the guy to talk to or ask about that, you know?
Yeah. Actually, that's a good question, because if Runkle, I'm assuming Runkle would watch it or at least go over it. I'll have to keep an eye out for his take on it, because it would be definitely interesting to hear, because he's definitely one that would know. I'd like to hear his opinion about it, because that's one thing I wouldn't really give my opinion on, because I don't know. I don't know anything about firearms. I couldn't tell you. And I do know, Steven says, my best friend's youngest son was an MP in the Marines, and while visiting home, he demonstrated going from just standing around to drawing his pew-pew from his retention holster. Wow, freaking fast. Yeah, I get that part, and I do know it's quick. But if you are less than 10 feet away from a coworker, a fellow cop, who you see is trying to rack a firearm, you'd think that your first reaction would be to just reach out and knock her down. I don't know if maybe that's just me, because I'm not trained with, pew-pews to draw them. Maybe that's just me, and maybe a little biased because I've watched Baker talk a little bit about it. But I just imagine, and this goes back again to kind of Noonan and his mentality and feelings towards Kelsey, because if you're a cop and your fellow cop is that close to you, whether she's pointing it at you or herself or trying whoever, if you just see her with one, you'd think that your first reaction would just be to grab her. I don't know. Maybe that's, like I said, I could easily be biased in that in that opinion.
No, yeah, you're probably right.
So I don't know. I'm just amazed at how small that room was, and yet he still felt the need, and all the time that he had in her, racking that gun and then nothing clicking and then racking it again, to not just grab, to me, that doesn't make sense. But I do go back and forth with, even that being my opinion, I understand that their training is to grab their weapon. I get that. But then I go back to, this is your fellow cop. And you're that close. You can reach out and grab her.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't make sense. Steven says, and when he demonstrated it, he instinctively moved to get cover, all in one motion, all muscle memory. Yeah, see, that's another thing. I didn't even think about, not only muscle memory, but instinctively getting yourself cover. Because if he's seeing her supposedly pointing this at his face, yet he doesn't move. He doesn't move to, run. There's stairs right behind him. He doesn't move back. I understand he's not going to turn his back on her, but he doesn't even back up to move away. That is another thing that doesn't make sense. And Steven says, and for that reason, I don't believe a frickin' word Noonan says. Well, I agree. I just, for different reasons, obviously. The whole pew thing, I have my opinions, but I couldn't base someone's, whether I believe them or not on that testimony alone, because I just don't know enough. They were saying something, Cheryl says, they were saying something about a law passed in 2021 that states if someone points a pew at themselves, they aren't allowed to intervene. Wow, I didn't know that. I mean, let's be honest. How are you going to intervene besides trying to talk them down? Because if you shoot them, which is what Noonan did, they're going to die anyway, pretty much. So what would be the point of intervening then? You know what I'm saying? Why shoot them to avoid having them shoot themselves? That makes no sense. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like his commands.
I got you, Cheryl. I knew what you meant.
When he said don't do it, that doesn't sound like somebody pointing
Oh, sorry.
a gun
Tanya,
at a
didn't cut you
cop.
off. Yeah. Sorry, because Cheryl says, because you were saying you should have tackled her. Okay. Now I wasn't thinking that way for tackling her. But still, to me, again, if you're going to interfere then, and you're not allowed to physically interfere, why would you? See, to me, that doesn't make sense, because why would you give them the ability to shoot them to avoid having them shoot themselves, but you can't tackle them, which would save their life, to avoid them shooting themselves? See, to me, that doesn't make any sense.
Hey, buddy, come up here.
So Steven says, yes, in Massachusetts in 2021, they passed a law that if a person is threatening to unalive themselves, like pointing a pew at their own head, pew-pewing them as a law enforcement officer is now a felony. See? Okay, so the law is not about tackling them. It's about, well, I guess, I don't know. I'd have to look at the law. Physically, whether you can shoot them or you can't touch them, period. Because this makes more sense, Stephen, that if they're not allowed to obviously shoot them to avoid having them shoot themselves, makes a lot more sense than not being able to intervene at all physically. Because if you can tackle someone and save their life, why wouldn't you do that? Stephen, oh, okay, I didn't know the last part. Interesting. I hope he faces charges. The whole thing is ludicrous. Yeah, and that goes along with my opinion on the fact is why he won't man up about why he shot her. Is if that's a felony, then not only does he not want to lose his job by saying he screwed up, he doesn't want to go to jail, which makes even more sense as to why he's lying. Because if he could go to jail, face jail time, face a felony, no less, for having shot her, for aiming that gun at herself, then that makes a whole lot more sense because he screwed up. And all I can think is, why wouldn't you just man up and say, I misread the situation, I got nervous, whatever. But now I understand. If he comes out and says that, he's going to face charges instead of still being on the job. Katie says, so did Noonan shoot her to save? Did Noonan shoot her to save her from shooting herself? But he knew it could end his own career, so he altered his story slightly. Retirement coming up, 401k, jail. Yeah, Katie, I think that's exactly what he did. I think he told his story thinking she wasn't going to survive. And I think when she survived, he had to change his story and knew he couldn't tell the truth at that point because he could go to jail and lose everything. I wonder if Bradel can bring that up at all, like the law to Noonan. And like just to, I don't know if that's allowed or not. But
certainly, I would think.
Because trying to see him answer that question was like, did you change your story because when she survived, you realized if you told the truth that, you know, you could go to jail for having, you know, shot her to avoid her shooting herself, like that kind of question. Like, I would love to see him answer that question.
Yeah, I think that's a probative question. Definitely.
Because I definitely now knowing, I mean, because I didn't know any of this. And a lot of this makes a whole lot more sense knowing that if he were to come out and say, yep, I screwed up, I tried to avoid her shooting herself, or I misread the situation, whatever it is, he would not only lose his job, he could face a felony, and it makes a whole lot more sense. Steven says, that's what the millions and millions reason comment was about by Bradel. They can't let it come out that Noonan pew-pewed her if she did actually have the pew-pew. Oh, if she actually did have the pew-pew to her head. Civil lawsuit. Got it. Yeah, I got you. Millions and millions of reasons, which is all those things as above. Your 401k, your job, your livelihood, facing a felony, facing jail. Exactly. Now I get that comment too. Dodo, you have a great night, honey. Get some good sleep. No, it's okay, Stephen. Normally I can figure them out because I am a bad typer myself, me and my stupid, fat, short, stubby fingers. But I just had to read the rest of it to get it. All right. So is there anything else, Kazi, that stuck out that you want to talk about in particular? Or did you want to get in? I'm not sure who you meant by you were talking on the phone, but you said, is there something you wanted to get off your chest? You're more than welcome.
Not right now.
Okay.
It's just something that's been brought to my attention over the past day or two, and I'm going to address it at some point. It's kind of a bummer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's just yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything right now because
Okay. No, I totally understand. I'm sorry you have to deal with anything that's, you know, a bummer or whatever the situation is. I'll be praying for you that it gets better. And whenever you
Well,
need
I'll
help,
just put it this way: like we have enough. We have enough work or whatever trying to cover people who suck. You know what I mean?
uh-huh.
I.e., the Hood Boogers, Cryford, Lana, like all of
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
And then sometimes it's the people that are close to you that make the most problems. And
Yeah.
I'm just not really willing to go there right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I am going to because it sucks.
That
That's
sucks. Yeah,
all.
and it's hard too, especially because those closest to you are the ones you trust, especially with things that, um that you trust with things that you won't tell everybody. And if those are the people that are willing to do things that either betray you, hurt you, or just being shitty, then it makes you feel a lot of things, let alone it hurts that you have someone that you can no longer trust that way anymore.
Yeah, well, there's just no need for it. I mean, I'll just say it in a very, very general way.
Yeah.
Like all these people, like the people we see in this chat, the people we see in my chat, and a handful of others. I mean, they're all pretty much the same people.
Yep.
These are our people, and to kind of learn that there is like, I don't know, people within that realm just trying to stir shit up for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Just irritates me more than any hood booger or any Cryford or anything could ever do.
Right.
You consider these people your friends
Yep.
for the most part, or at least on your side. And then when you learn this kind of weird shit going on behind the scenes that you don't even know about, and you have to learn about, like, through weird ways, it's a little depressing for me. But I'm not willing to go there 100% right now until I know more. So
Yep. No, I totally understand that.
that's
And
all.
exactly. I mean, because when the hood boogers / car crew / fucktard / Lana, delusional woman that she is, when they say shit, it's like you expect that kind of shit from them. But if they come from someone that you least expect it from, like people that supposedly support you and have your back, it's
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
the people that you've actually met in real life, and like feel like they're on your side. You know what I mean? Or like they're with you, and then like to take some petty shit and just be fucking assholes about it. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Steven, the thing in back of me is a blueprint for a Navy ship from 1891. It's a blueprint, and I have a bunch of them. So I'll be looking to frame a few of them soon. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I need to get better. I need to get better lighting for it so you can see it better. But
Yeah, I mean, well, all the stuff that, for streamers and that, it's so expensive. I mean, just to stream alone, the programs that you need, like today I hit my limit for the month already for Canva, my till April 1st now. So it's hard. Like I'm on the ones that I have paid free, when the ones that I paid the minimum amount for to get my channel up and running are all running out. Like, and I've only been streaming live for less than a month. And I'm like, just streaming alone, not to mention not including things like lighting and your seat and your, all that stuff. I never realized, I'm going to tell you, people didn't realize, I didn't realize how much upfront money you need just to go live. It's crazy.
yeah, it's a lot. Like I just got a new chair the other day, and put it together the day before yesterday, and it's so much nicer. especially when
Yeah.
I got my especially when I got my cat on me 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I gotta have a comfortable chair.
Yes, definitely.
That chunky little Cinnabon, you know what I mean, can get heavy after a while.
Yeah, well, someone wrote earlier, I don't remember who. Oh, it was Steven, wrote this. Kazik's cat is the size of a dog.
Yeah, I mean, he's around 6 or 7 years old. They really don't know, because they don't know anything about his past. But the veterinarian estimates him to be 6 or 7 years old. So yeah, he's a big boy, but also a baby. You know,
Right.
he
I'm just
loves
glad he found a good home with you.
he loves to cuddle all the time, and he just jumped off a minute ago, but he'll be back in a minute.
Maybe he needs something to eat or drink.
Yeah.
Or take a poopy.
Yeah, he goes mental. He goes mental after pooping, which is hilarious. Which is what most cats do, but you'll hear him scratching in the box, and he'll jump out like lightning out of the box and be like, and be like looking around and then like run in the other room real quick.
Yeah, the cats can't stand their own shit, huh?
Yeah, it's like they go freaking mental. It's so funny. But he'll be back in a minute.
That's great. Steven just says, he says, my favorite classes in high school were drafting. Kids now don't know the joy of drafting. They only know CAD. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love drafting class. Yeah, those. I draw. I do art. But I hate saying art, but I do digital art, and I do pencil. I do pencil art. So I've got a bunch of drawings. I love drawing.
Yeah, I'm not artistic as far as like that kind of goes. Like I wrote poetry starting in early junior high. I've been writing poetry my whole life. So like but I wouldn't call myself artistic by any means in any sort, but I am having a lot of fun with Canva. But my mom, ironically enough, my mom her dream when she was younger was to be an architect, and she took drafting. That's when she met my dad in a high school drafting class, and she actually did his homework for him.
Yeah,
And this
there's
is way
nothing
back.
wrong with that.
Yeah, and this is way back when, women in architecture and drafting wasn't exactly accepted. So I always thought that story was funny.
I have an architect table. That's what I stream from right here.
Oh, really? That's cool. We used to have one in my mom's house from my dad. It was in our basement, and it just sat there forever. It was never used.
Yeah,
But they're nice big
I can
tables.
pull it up to like whatever angle,
Mhm.
go. It's I love it. I love drafting tables. So that's what I'm using right now.
That's awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to well, I guess first and foremost is my rent and everything else I'm going through right now. But down the road, when I'm more stable financially and hopefully get my channel up and monetized and stuff, looking forward to getting a nice setup now that I have my desktop working and stuff. Because right now I just have a tiny, just basic flat table / computer desk. It's just a rectangle desk, nothing special, that I ordered off Walmart a couple years ago, about 2 years ago, for like $32. It was on clearance. It serves its purpose, but that's all I have. And I have a chair that's probably at least 5 years old. It's old and it's not comfortable. That's why it's really the whole reason I haven't been on camera, I'll be totally honest, is because I constantly have to move because of, with my hips and the pain that I suffer on a daily basis, it's hard for me to sit in one spot, let alone be in front of a camera, all the time. So especially with how long I'm streaming with these trials,
Yeah.
I'm constantly sitting, laying, I'm on the floor, I'm on the couch, I'm on, I move around a lot. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting things nicely set up and having a comfortable place where I can sit for at least a period of time in front of the camera. So
Yeah, when you get a new chair, it's like unbelievable. But I'm always like rocking back and forth like this, like always trying to like move a little bit, even when I'm sitting down, So
yeah.
it's gonna always move a little bit. Like I just can't sit here.
Yeah, it's not. I think
ADHD, you know what I mean?
yeah. I think it would be I think it's going to be uncomfortable for anyone, to be honest with you, to sit in one spot for a really long time. Like even if you don't suffer from things like me with physical things and you with, people with ADHD that, have a hard time sitting still. It's not an easy thing. Whether you have stuff like that or you don't, I don't think it's easy to sit in front of a camera for hours.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like Nikki Rackets will sit there for hours on end. You know what I mean? Like streaming. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know how
know.
people do that.
Yeah. But I've had some long streams as well, so but I do take breaks along the way,
Yeah. I think that's a nice thing, like I said, about being off camera right now is that, like, especially streaming a trial when people are listening, I can take my breaks when I need to. I can move around when I need to. It's really easy for me, and that's why I am concerned. That's the reason I more than anything, that's the reason why I haven't gone on camera, because people ask me if I'm going to go on camera, if I am, or if I do, and it's like I plan on it. I really do. I really want to, but it's just hard for me right now.
Well, you know what? It also doesn't matter, right? Unless you're the hood booger crew, like show your face, show your face.
Right?
Like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, I never understood
Don't
that.
feel like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I like seeing the face of the person that I'm listening to on YouTube only because I enjoy their reactions to things. I'm normally watching people because I'm watching their opinion and their reactions, especially if it's something funny, but other than that, I mean, YouTube is really like a podcast. And what do podcasters do? They're on a microphone, not a camera. You listen to them because you're interested in what they have to say, not what they look like.
Right, exactly. So the only reason they want to know what you look like is so they can run your face through a Google image search and try to find out who you are.
Yeah.
Why else would they want to see you?
Oh.
Who cares?
Yeah. To me, I mean, to me, that's never bothered me one way or the other by who I listen to, whether I can see them or not. And you're absolutely right. I mean, they were obsessed with, Ray from Dallas because they didn't know who he was. And I mean,
and he was just too good at roasting them.
Yep.
That's all it boiled down to. He was too good at it.
Yep.
We have to find out who this guy is. We cannot let this stand.
Yep.
Which tells you how big of pussies they really are. Or they would be better, at comebacks or responses or whatever. They would be better at comedy. It just tells you. Or we have to find out where you are or who you are so we can say crazy shit about you and bring up your past and you know what I mean?
Yeah, they cause drama. That's all they want.
Right. Yeah. Try to tell me you have no words for what you're talking about without telling me you have no words to talk about. You just I gotta find out who that is. It's weird.
Right. And then, Ray from Dallas took their power away by basically, doxing himself, saying, this is who I am. See, I'm not all these people you're claiming me to be a fake. You're claiming me to be, they thought he was Jimmy. They thought he was, TV. They thought he
But it was
was
me.
yeah, and you.
They thought I was Jimmy. They thought I was the glare at one point. They thought it was AI at one point.
That's insane. Did you know that I made a comment. I'm trying to think where it was. I made a comment. I think it was in Will's chat, actually. I made a comment in Will's chat, and apparently these people hadn't seen me before. It was a while ago. And someone was like, "Oh, I smell BLT," or something like that to me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not BLT, okay? This was before they even thought BLT was toy. Like, I'm like, seriously? Oh my God. Like, their obsession with it is just insane.
Yeah, I know. They're so stupid.
Yeah.
They
Steven
really are.
says, I just noticed because Rakita or Kata went 14 hours straight. That's a long time. Holy moly.
Yeah. He's a beast. That guy.
That's crazy. And he also says, in the past, I have been involved in local politics and had people do research on me. And the way I countered it was admitting to what they found and then telling them, wait until I tell you about the shit you didn't find. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I mean, to be honest, thankfully, I mean, they're not going to find much on me besides my medical issues. You go ahead. I already talk about them. So go.
All right, go ahead. Like, what are you going to find out about me?
But even if there was something to hide, like people are allowed to have secrets about their life or their past or whatever. Because especially if, let's say you have something bad in your past, and you're moving on and you're doing something good with your life, or you're just doing something that makes you happy, whatever it is, you have a right to move on with your life without some asshole dragging it up. It's just wrong.
Yeah, the hood boogers, JFK brought up. He's like, yo, you was in jail 33 years ago. And he started telling me like details of being in jail. I told them that. I told them that on their show. And then they brought it up like it was some kind of shit that they figured out on their own.
But so, yeah. Exactly.
It's like, no. I told you that, dude. He's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, no. Okay.
Like, if you were so worried about someone knowing, you wouldn't have talked to them about it. And at that
right.
point,
And who cares?
Yeah.
It was 33 years ago.
Exactly.
I was 18 years old. I did 30 days in Billerica.
Oh my God. See, like, who cares? That's what I'm
And
saying.
they make it out to be this huge thing. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I told you that.
It's just so dumb. I'd be more embarrassed about being who JFK is today than, being someone like you who had something like that 30 years ago. Like, that's, you know what I mean? JFK is an embarrassment.
Yeah, he acts like he's 33 years ago and he's 50 years old.
Exactly. That's my point. Like, I would be way more embarrassed about being who he is today than admitting that at 18 I had some incident that made me go to jail for 30 days. Like, who cares?
Right.
So dumb.
And they like to play that whole game. Oh, you went to PC. Oh, you went to PC. No, I went to the hole. It's called segregation because of my charges. It was assault and battery on a police officer, if you really want to know.
Yeah.
So that's why I went to segregation. It's called segregation or the hole. It's not PC. It's not protective custody. So they like to play that little game,
Dumb.
Yeah. But Randall's like, I never saw you there, and I was there from like blah 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 to blah blah blah. It's like, well, wait a minute though. Why did you spend 5 years at Billerica when you should have been classified and gone upstate? That probably means you're a firebug or a fucking snitch.
Wow.
So
I
Listen,
didn't even know that about him. I don't really care to know about. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't
well,
give a shit.
I don't know that about him. That's what he said to me in
Right.
response. And it's like, well, you just kind of outed yourself as a piece of shit.
Right.
Because why weren't you classified and sent upstate then? You know, these guys think that like nobody has any other knowledge on what they're talking about and they can just spout this shit off.
Yeah.
But like I've been on the other end of the stick. Like I've done, you know what I mean? I have a past, right?
Right.
Like I know things,
That's
right?
what I was gonna
They just can't say shit.
Right. And
You
that's,
know?
I mean, we did this, we did a little bit of a search when on my live stream I did a couple weeks ago, when looking at his, like, it was right after, I think, the hat situation. And because I made a comment that
Oh yeah, I got the hat. Yeah.
yeah, I literally live off 8 Mile, but just in a different part of Metro Detroit than obviously in Detroit. And I had made a comment that if JFK and Jabril were dropped on 8 Mile down at a certain street, which is, you know, down in Detroit, the place that you really don't want to go, they'd shit themselves. And then looking back at supposedly where he came from, like he constantly talks about he's from Lynn, which is supposedly some like hardcore, you got to be tough to be brought up there or something, like at least that's how he talks about it. And then come to find out he's not. He's from New Hampshire, from some town that I guess is like all old people.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus.
Like, what a joke.
Yeah, they are a joke.
Anyways, really quick, I'm gonna read this. Steven says, look at the antis for this trial. Krusty, for example, bringing up Kelsey getting arrested for drinking stuff when she was around 17. Like most people didn't do shit when they were young. Yeah, exactly. And most of these people that talk about that kind of shit, if they were lucky enough to not get caught, that is the, you know, they can't sit there and say, is that something you wanted to show, Kazi? Sorry.
No, I was just trying to look for clips.
Okay.
But no, it's not important tonight.
No worries. But anyway, my point in that is that most people, when you're young, you do stupid stuff. And let's admit, drinking underage is illegal. And but if you're lucky enough to do it and not get caught, you're just lucky enough to do it and not get caught. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you weren't just as stupid. It just means you weren't caught.
Right. Right. Yeah, and you know, I was a wild kid. I mean, there's no doubt about it. No question. But yeah, whatever. I mean, big deal.
Yeah.
30 plus years ago.
Yeah. It doesn't mean squat from.
But they will never ever find anything that is like anything against women or anything like that. They'll never find that.
Right. I mean,
I was just a crazy kid, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look at JLR not to bring him up, but just my point is that kid, he's not a kid, but he did some really nasty shit. Okay. And this bullshit that he's doing now, at least it's above board, but there's a complete difference about talking about someone who consistently was a fraud, who was scamming people out of money and trying to warn people about his past before you blindly follow this guy, than it is for somebody to have let's say a small record or whatever from 30 some years ago. There is a big, big, big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know,
go ahead, Kazi.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know a lot about JLR, but you know, it is kind of telling when he gets Will's channel shut down. But he did do a dog walking clubber live today, right? So am I to understand he can do live streams again?
Oh, I didn't know he went live. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. Let me
Yeah,
look.
he did. He did. Obviously much earlier, like he usually does. So I'm assuming he's back. I'm not
Oh yeah,
100%.
11 hours ago. So yeah, he should be good to go.
Yeah.
I did know yesterday that he made a comment to thanks to Runkle. I'm sure because Runkle went through the YouTube jail for the same kind of reason.
Yeah, and
So-
Runkle was kind of giving him advice on things. So
yeah.
good for him. Runkle's great.
Yes, definitely. I'm glad to hear that. I didn't know. I've been busy all day watching the trial and then streaming, so I didn't even know Will went live. But I'm really glad to hear that. Really glad.
Yeah.
Just lastly, Stephen had made this comment specifically. He says, I don't know about other states, but in Massachusetts, if you are charged, it doesn't matter if you're found not guilty, it stays on your record. Now, in Michigan, I know only because I worked for I worked for a company that had a contract with the MDOC. Now I do, which is the Michigan Department of Corrections. Now I do know that, let's say you're charged and let's say you plead guilty or are convicted, but it's something that can be expunged. It won't be on your record. And if you're arrested but not charged, it won't be on your record. Now, if you're arrested and charged with something, but then it's dismissed, I would only assume that since the other two are off your record in Michigan, that it would be off your record as well. But I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd have to research it. Because then Stephen also says it's an old MA law enforcement tactic that if you don't cooperate with them, they will charge you with something like assault and battery, knowing it will be dismissed, but remain on your record. See, now that's bullshit. That's literally taking advantage. And I just think that's wrong.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That just goes to show you how shady Massachusetts, I mean, always is all the way around. It's terrible. Anyways, Kazi, I'm going to call it an evening. I got about 2 hours to get some food in me before I go live with Mary B. I do want to
forgot about that. Yeah, I'll be at that one too.
I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And anytime, like I said, any day you want to join me, I will. If you're interested, I'll just send you a link every day. And then if you want to join, just hop on for the rest of this trial. And as I continue into the second trial, okay?
Sure, sounds great.
That sounds like a plan. So thank you guys, everyone, for joining me today. I will do that. Thank you, James. I'm writing his name down right now. But thank you guys all for joining me and Kazi today. I am again on at 10:30 tonight with Mary B, getting into our psych night, and then be back tomorrow afternoon after Kelsey, depending on how long the trial is tomorrow, probably around 3:30, 4 o'clock, with Dr. Russell. For the Karen Reed first trial. So again, thank you so much for being here. I love you all, and I hope to see you all at 10:30. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Yep. Bye, Kazi. I'll see you hopefully in the chat tonight if you're available.
Absolutely. Bye.
Thanks, Tom. Bye.